Captain Zion Reed stared at the impossible, a hole in the Tsar Nix's impenetrable armor, carved not by plasma cannons or fusion bombs, but by a single, glistening teardrop. The realization hit him like a shockwave, momentarily drowning out the chaos of battle raging around him. Smoke filled his lungs as he knelt beside the fallen alien warrior, its chitinous exoskeleton now marred by a small, perfectly circular breach. "How?" he whispered, his voice barely audible over the distant explosions. His mind raced, recalling the moment just seconds ago when he'd been grappling with the Tsar Nix's soldier. In a flash of desperation and grief, thoughts of his fallen family had overwhelmed him. A tear had slipped free, landing on the alien's chest plate. And now, Zion's radio crackled to life. "Captain Reed, we're being overrun at the eastern perimeter. We need backup now." Reality crashed back. Zion grabbed the alien's weapon, a sleek, obsidian rifle that hummed with otherworldly energy. "On my way," he barked into his calm. As he sprinted towards the sounds of battle, his mind whirled with the implications of what he'd just witnessed. For 3 grueling months, Earth had been under siege. The Tsar Nixes had appeared without warning, their massive ships blotting out the sun. Humanity's most advanced weapons had proven useless against their armor. Cities fell. Billions died. Those who survived huddled in underground bunkers or fought a seemingly hopeless guerrilla war. Zion vaulted over a crumbled wall, the alien rifle clutched tightly. He'd lost everything in the initial assault. His wife, Lyra, their daughter, Celeste, the memory of their faces, frozen in terror as the building collapsed around them, haunted his every waking moment. He reached the eastern perimeter, a hastily fortified line of rubble and scavenged metal. A handful of soldiers, their uniforms caked with grime and blood, fired desperately at the advancing Tsar Nixes. The aliens moved with terrifying grace, their armor deflecting bullets like raindrops. "Fall back to secondary positions," Zion shouted, raising the alien weapon. He squeezed the trigger, and a burst of violet energy lanced out, catching a Tsar Nixes in the chest. The alien stumbled but didn't fall. As his troops retreated, Zion's mind raced. If tears could breach the alien's armor, could they weaponize this weakness? He needed to get this information to command, to Dr. Sage Frost. The brilliant scientist had been working tirelessly to find a chink in the Tsar Nix's seemingly impervious defense. A massive explosion rocked the ground, and Zion was thrown off his feet. He hit the ground hard, the alien rifle skittering away. Through the ringing in his ears, he heard the heavy footsteps of approaching Tsar Nix's warriors. Dazed, he looked up to see 3 of the towering aliens looming over him, their faceless helmets reflecting the fires of the ruined city. As one raised its weapon for the killing blow, Zion's thoughts turned once more to Lyra and Celeste. A tear slid down his dirt-streaked face. The droplet fell, landing on the Tsar Nix's foot. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a hiss and a wisp of acrid smoke, the tear ate through the alien's armor like acid through paper. The Tsar Nixes recoiled, emitting a high-pitched screech that cut through the battlefield din. Its companions stepped back, clearly shocked by this unprecedented vulnerability. Seizing the moment, Zion rolled, snatching up the alien rifle. He fired in quick succession, aiming for the exact spots where his tears had landed on each Tsar Nixes. The energy blast punched through the weakened armor, and the aliens fell. As the dust settled, Zion staggered to his feet, his mind reeling from the implications of what had just occurred. He keyed his radio, his voice urgent. "This is Captain Reed. Get me a secure line to Dr. Frost. I've found their weakness." He paused, looking at the fallen Tsar Nixes, then at the devastation surrounding him. For the first time in months, a flicker of hope ignited in his chest. "And tell her to prepare for Project Tearfall. We're going to make these bastards cry." The underground bunker hummed with newfound energy as Dr. Sage Frost paced before a holographic display, her emerald eyes darting between complex molecular structures and weapon schematics. Captain Zion Reed stood nearby, his battle-worn uniform a stark contrast to the sterile lab environment. It's unprecedented, Sage muttered, more to herself than to Zion. The biochemical reaction between human lacrimal fluid and the Tsar Nixis exoskeleton. It's like nothing we've ever seen. Zion stepped closer, studying the rotating 3D model of a tear droplet. Can we weaponize it? Sage's lips curved into a grim smile. Oh, we can do more than that, Captain. We're going to turn every human tear into a smart bomb. She tapped a few commands, and the hologram shifted to display a sleek, handheld device. This is the prototype for Project Tearfall. It collects and amplifies the corrosive properties of human tears, then projects them as an aerosolized mist. One cartridge could potentially take down dozens of Tsar Nixis. Impressive, Zion nodded, a spark of hope kindling in his chest. How soon can we mass-produce these? Sage's expression darkened. That's where we hit a snag. We need a significant quantity of fresh tears to create enough weapons to turn the tide. And in case you haven't noticed, Captain, hope is in short supply these days. People are too numb, too broken to cry. Zion's jaw clenched. The irony wasn't lost on him. Humanity's salvation lay in their ability to express the very sorrow that threatened to consume them. There's more, Sage continued, her voice lowering. Initial tests show that the tears need to be emotionally potent. Run-of-the-mill irritant tears won't cut it. We need tears of true grief, joy, or catharsis. The implications hung heavy in the air. Zion broke the silence, his voice rough. So we're not just asking people to cry. We're asking them to relive their deepest traumas or find joy in this hell we're living in. Sage nodded solemnly. I never said it would be easy, Captain, but it's our only shot. A sharp knock interrupted them. Atlas Gray, head of military operations, strode in, his face etched with urgency. We've got a situation. Our long-range scanners picked up a massive Tsar Nixis ship entering Earth's atmosphere. It's like nothing we've seen before. Zion's blood ran cold. The mothership? Atlas nodded grimly. Looks like it. Intel suggests they're setting up some kind of terraforming device. If they activate it, Earth becomes uninhabitable for humans, Sage finished, her face pale. Zion's mind raced. How long do we have? 72 hours, at best, Atlas replied. A heavy silence fell over the room. Then, Zion straightened, determination blazing in his eyes. Then we don't have time for mass production. We need a strike team. A small group to infiltrate that mothership and deploy Tearfall at its heart. Atlas raised an eyebrow. A suicide mission, you mean? A chance to save everything, Zion countered. Doctor, how many functional Tearfall devices can you have ready in 24 hours? Sage quickly ran calculations in her head. With the tears we've collected so far, maybe 5, 6 if we push it. Zion nodded. Then that's what we'll work with. Atlas, I need our best operatives, people with nothing left to lose and everything to fight for. As Atlas began listing potential candidates, Sage pulled Zion aside. Captain, there's something else you should know. She hesitated, then continued, her voice barely above a whisper. Our analysis of the Tsar Nixis armor, it's not just technology. It's alive, somehow bonded to their bodies. When it dissolves. Zion's eyes widened as he grasped the implication. We're not just disarming them. We're essentially flaying them alive, Sage finished, her face grim. I thought you should know what we're really asking our soldiers to do. Zion closed his eyes, the weight of command pressing down on him. When he opened them again, they were filled with a steely resolve. Sometimes, to save humanity, we have to do inhuman things. Assemble the team, Doctor. We ship out at dawn. As Sage and Atlas left to make preparations, Zion remained, staring at the holographic display of Earth, partially obscured by the looming Tsar Nixis mothership. He thought of Lyra and Celeste, of the billions lost, of the fate hanging in the balance. A single tear rolled down his cheek. This time, he caught it in a small vial. For Earth, he whispered, handing the vial to a waiting lab technician. Make it count. The briefing room buzzed with tension as Zion surveyed the faces of his hastily assembled strike team. Each member had been chosen for their unique skills and, more importantly, their capacity for deep emotion in a world numbed by devastation. "Ladies and gentlemen," Zion began, his voice cutting through the murmurs, "what I'm about to tell you doesn't leave this room. Project Tearfall is our last hope against the Tsar Nixus, and each of you has been hand-picked for this mission." He nodded to Sage, who activated a holographic display of the Tsar Nixus mothership. "Our objective is to infiltrate this behemoth and deploy our Tearfall devices at key points. If successful, we'll cripple their entire invasion force." Zion introduced the team. "Remai Quinn, our tech specialist. You'll be responsible for hacking their systems and getting us past their defenses." Remai, a wiry man with cybernetic implants visible at his temples, gave a curt nod. "Ember Faye, demolitions expert. Your job is to create distractions and, if necessary, blow our way out." A woman with flame-red hair and burned scars along her arms cracked her knuckles in response. "Caspian Wolf, our medic and biologist. You'll keep us alive and help us understand anything we encounter inside that ship." A tall, somber man with piercing blue eyes acknowledged his role with a grave expression. And finally, Lark Thorne, our infiltration specialist. "Your stealth skills will be crucial in getting us to our targets undetected." A lithe figure in the corner, face half hidden by a hood, merely inclined their head. "I'll be leading the operation," Zion concluded. "Any questions before we get into the details?" Ember raised her hand, her eyes narrowed. "Yeah, I've got one. What aren't you telling us about these Tearfall devices? There's got to be a catch." Zion exchanged a glance with Sage before responding. "The devices weaponize human tears against the Tsar Nixus armor. And yes, there's a catch. The tears need to be emotionally charged. Real grief, joy, or catharsis." A heavy silence fell over the room. Caspian was the first to break it. "So we're not just soldiers on this mission. We're, what? Emotional conduits?" "In a manner of speaking, yes," Sage interjected. "The devices will amplify and project your tears, but they need to be genuine. We're asking you to access your deepest feelings, your most profound memories." Remai let out a bitter laugh. "Well, that shouldn't be too hard. We've all lost enough to cry an ocean." Zion's voice softened. "I know what I'm asking is difficult, possibly the hardest thing you'll ever do. But it's not just about sadness. Joy, love, even anger can produce the tears we need. Whatever emotion you can access most strongly." Lark spoke for the first time, their voice barely above a whisper. "And what happens to the Tsar Nixus when these tears hit them?" Zion hesitated, then decided they deserved the full truth. "Their armor is biologically bonded to them. When it dissolves, the effect is severe." The implications hung in the air. They weren't just going to defeat the aliens. They were going to subject them to an agonizing fate. Ember broke the tense silence. "So we're going to make them suffer like they've made us suffer. Good. When do we start?" Zion activated a countdown on the holodisplay. "We deploy in 18 hours. Use that time to prepare, both physically and mentally. Remember, your emotions are now your most potent weapons." As the team dispersed, Sage pulled Zion aside. "There's something else. During our last analysis, we detected some anomalies in the Tsar Nixus biosignatures. It's as if their biology is in flux somehow." Zion frowned. "What are you saying?" Sage shook her head. "I'm not sure, but I don't think we fully understand what we're dealing with. Be careful up there." Zion nodded, the weight of command heavy on his shoulders. As he left to make his own preparations, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something crucial about their enigmatic enemy. In his quarters, Zion opened a small locket containing photos of Lyra and Celeste. As he stared at their smiling faces, a mix of grief and determination washed over him. A tear formed in the corner of his eye. This time, he let it fall. The stealth shuttle hummed quietly as it approached the massive Tsar Nixus mothership. Through the viewscreen, the alien vessel loomed like a dark, metallic cloud, its surface a maze of sharp angles and pulsing energy conduits. Zion stood at the helm, his eyes fixed on their target. Behind him, the strike team made final preparations, the air thick with tension and unspoken fears. 2 minutes to insertion point, Remai announced from the co-pilot's seat, his fingers dancing over holographic controls. Their sensor grid is incredibly dense, but I've found a blind spot. It's small and it's moving, so we'll have to time this perfectly. Zion nodded. Everyone, final check on your tearfall devices. Remember, we have a limited supply of cartridges. Make every tear count. As the team double-checked their gear, Lark approached Zion, speaking in a low voice. Captain, there's something you should know. Before this mission, I was planning to end it all. I had nothing left. But now... They paused, emotion flickering in their eyes. Now I have a purpose. Whatever happens up there, thank you for that. Zion clasped Lark's shoulder, a moment of understanding passing between them. We all have our ghost, Lark. Today, we make them count. 30 seconds, Remai called out. Engaging stealth systems now. The shuttle's exterior shimmered, adopting the reflective properties of the space around it. As they approached the mothership's hull, a small section seemed to ripple, revealing a docking port. That's our way in, Zion said, taking a deep breath. Caspian, you're on point. Ember, watch our 6. Let's move. With practiced precision, the team exited the shuttle and entered the alien ship. The interior was a stark contrast to the angular exterior, an organic, almost arterial network of corridors pulsed with an eerie biolight. This place, Caspian whispered, his scientific curiosity evident despite the circumstances. It's like we're inside a living organism. Stay focused, Zion warned. Remai, which way to the central control node? Remai consulted a holographic map projected from his wrist device. 2 levels up, about 500 meters east. But Captain, I'm detecting a lot of movement between us and there. Unavoidable, Zion replied. Lark, take point. Get us as close as you can without engaging. As they moved through the ship's corridors, the organic nature of the vessel became increasingly apparent. The walls seemed to breathe, and occasionally a tremor would run through the floor, like a muscle twitch in a giant beast. They had almost reached their first objective when Lark suddenly held up a fist, signaling the team to halt. Ahead, 2 Tsar Nixus warriors stood guard at an intersection. Zion was about to signal for a retreat when he noticed something odd. The aliens were arguing. Their normally synchronized movements were erratic, and their communication sounded almost distressed. Something's wrong, Ember whispered. They're not supposed to act like this. Before anyone could respond, one of the Tsar Nixus suddenly convulsed, its armor rippling like liquid mercury. With a sickening tearing sound, a portion of the armor peeled back, revealing pale, almost human-like skin underneath. The team watched in horrified fascination as the alien let out a keening wail, a sound that was shockingly human. By all that's holy, Caspian breathed. What's happening to them? The second Tsar Nixus, seemingly panicked by its companion's transformation, raised its weapon. But instead of firing, it began smashing the weapon against its own head, as if trying to crack its own armor. We need to move, now, Zion hissed, snapping the team out of their shock. While they're distracted. As they slipped past the distressed aliens, Zion's mind raced. What had they just witnessed? Were all the Tsar Nixus experiencing this metamorphosis? They reached a vast chamber that Remai identified as the central control node. Biomechanical consoles pulsed with energy, and at the center, a massive crystalline structure thrummed with power. That's it, Remai said, pointing to the crystal. That's controlling their terraforming device. We destroy that, we save Earth. Zion nodded grimly. All right, team, this is it. Plant the tearfall devices around the crystal. When I give the word, we activate them and... He trailed off as a new figure entered the chamber. Tall, regal, and undeniably alien, yet with an almost human grace. Its armor was more ornate than the others, suggesting a position of leadership. The alien spoke, its voice resonating not through the air, but directly in their minds. "Humans," it said, a note of what could only be described as sadness in its telepathic voice. "You don't understand. We're not your enemy. We're your future." Zion raised his weapon, but found himself unable to fire. "What are you talking about? Who are you?" The alien's armor shifted, revealing a face that was a haunting blend of human and Tsar Nixus features. "I am Vex Nari, last of the true Tsar Nixus, and I'm here to show you the truth about your tears, your evolution, and the fate of both our species." The control chamber fell into an uneasy silence. The human strike team and Vex Nari locked in a tense standoff. Zion's mind raced, trying to process the alien leader's words and the implications of what they'd witnessed in the corridors. "Explain," Zion demanded, his weapon still trained on Vex Nari. "What do you mean you're our future?" Vex Nari's hybrid features contorted into what might have been a sad smile. "Your tears, Captain Reed, they're not a weapon against us. They're the key to our shared evolution." Ember scoffed, her hands tightening on her own weapon. "Evolution? You've been trying to exterminate us." "No," Vex Nari shook his head. "We've been trying to save you. To save us both." With a gesture, Vex Nari activated a holographic display in the center of the room. It showed a DNA strand, but unlike anything the humans had seen before. It twisted and shifted, parts of it seeming to phase in and out of reality. "This is Tsar Nixus DNA," Vex explained. "Eons ago, our species achieved a level of technological advancement that allowed us to manipulate our own genetic code. We thought we had reached perfection." The hologram shifted, showing the DNA strand beginning to degrade. "But we were wrong. Our perfect genetics began to break down. We were dying out, unable to adapt to the natural forces of the universe. In our arrogance, we had engineered our own extinction." Caspian stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overriding his caution. "But what does this have to do with humans?" Vex turned his gaze to the medic. "Everything. In our search for a solution, we discovered Earth. Your species, with its remarkable adaptability and emotional depth, held the key to our survival. And yours." The hologram changed again, showing human DNA intertwining with the Tsar Nixus strand, stabilizing it. "Your tears," Vex continued, "contain a unique enzyme that can repair and enhance our degrading DNA. But more than that, they carry the essence of your emotions, your ability to change and grow, something we had lost long ago." Zion's mind reeled. "So this invasion was never meant to be an invasion," Vex finished. "It was to be a merger of our species, a symbiosis that would save us both. The terraforming device you fear isn't meant to make Earth uninhabitable for humans. It's designed to create an environment where both our species can thrive together." Lark, who had been silent until now, spoke up. "But the destruction, the deaths, why?" Vex's expression turned pained. "A tragic miscalculation. Our initial attempts at communication were misinterpreted as attacks. In the chaos that followed, a faction of our leadership, fearful and short-sighted, pushed for a more aggressive approach. They believed that subjugating humanity was the only way to ensure our survival." "And now?" Zion asked, his weapon lowering slightly. "Now, that faction is losing control," Vex explained. "The integration process has already begun in many of our warriors. What you witnessed in the corridors is happening throughout our fleet. We are becoming something new, neither fully Tsar Nixus nor human, but a blend of both." Remai, who had been furiously analyzing data on his wrist computer, looked up. "Captain, he's telling the truth. I'm detecting massive genetic flux throughout the ship. And these energy readings, they're not weapon signatures. It's some kind of massive genetic resequencer." Zion's mind raced, weighing the implications. If Vex was telling the truth, using the Tearfall devices wouldn't just be an act of war. It would be genocide against a species trying to save itself and offer humanity a new future. But doubt still nagged at him. Why should we trust you, after everything that's happened? Vex stepped forward, his hybrid features reflecting a very human emotion, hope. Because, Captain Reed, I can give you back what you've lost. With another gesture, a new hologram appeared. It showed a chamber filled with what looked like stasis pods. Inside each pod was a human figure. When the misguided attack on your cities began, some of us managed to save as many humans as we could, Vex explained. We placed them in genetic stasis, preserving them until we could find a way to safely awaken them and explain our true purpose. Zion's heart nearly stopped as the hologram focused on two particular pods. Inside were the peaceful faces of Lyra and Celeste. Your family, Captain, Vex said softly. They're alive, and they're not the only ones. Thousands were saved, including loved ones of many in this room. The strike team exchanged shocked glances, emotions warring on their faces. Vex extended a hand towards Zion. You came here to save humanity. I'm offering you a chance to do that and more. To forge a future where both our species not only survive but thrive together. The choice, Captain Reed, is yours. Zion stared at the outstretched hand, then at the faces of his wife and daughter. The fate of two species hung in the balance. With a deep breath, he made his decision. Zion's hand trembled as he reached out, his fingers almost touching Vexnari's. The chamber was silent, the tension palpable as human and alien stood on the precipice of a monumental decision. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. The holographic displays flickered and distorted, showing multiple breaches across the mothership's hull. Vexnari's eyes widened in alarm. No, it's too soon. What's happening? Zion demanded, withdrawing his hand. Remai's fingers flew over his holo interface. Multiple impacts detected. It's the Earth Defense Fleet. They're launching a full-scale assault on the mothership. Ember's face lit up with fierce joy. Reinforcements. They must have found a way to penetrate the Tsar Nyxus defenses. But Vexnari's expression was one of horror. You don't understand. The ship's genetic resequencer is at a critical stage. If it's damaged now, the results could be catastrophic for both our species. The ship shuddered under another barrage. Caspian, who had been analyzing the data on the resequencer, turned to Zion with a grave expression. He's right, Captain. The energy readings are off the charts. If that thing destabilizes. Zion made a split-second decision. Remai, can you get a communication link to the fleet? Negative, Remai shook his head. Too much interference. We'd need to get to a primary communication node. Then that's our new mission, Zion declared. He turned to Vexnari. You. If you're telling the truth, prove it now. Help us stop this attack and save both our people. Vex nodded solemnly. Follow me. There's a direct access route to the comms center 2 levels up. As they raced through the writhing corridors of the living ship, they encountered more Tsar Nyxus in various stages of transformation. Some were hostile, lashing out in confusion and pain. Others seemed to recognize Vexnari and allowed the group to pass. The changes are accelerating, Vex explained as they ran. The attack is triggering a survival response in our collective biology. We're adapting faster than anticipated, but it's chaotic, unpredictable. They reached a vast chamber filled with pulsating organic technology. At its center stood a towering structure that looked like a cross between a giant coral and a supercomputer. This is it, Vex said. The primary communication hub. It can pierce through any interference. Remai immediately set to work, his cybernetic implants interfacing directly with the alien tech. I'm in, but there's heavy encryption. It'll take time to break through. Another violent shudder rocked the ship. Ember, who had been watching their six, called out, We've got company. Hostile Tsar Nyxus incoming. A group of fully armored Tsar Nyxus warriors poured into the chamber, their weapons trained on the humans and Vexnari. Traitor, one of them bellowed at Vex. You would doom us all for these primitives. Vex stood tall, his form shifting between human and Tsar Nixus aspects. I would save us all. Stand down, brothers. This is the only way. The lead Tsar Nixus warrior hesitated, its armor rippling as if fighting against the transformation. The old ways. We must preserve. The old ways are killing us, Vex shouted. Look at yourselves. Feel the change. It's not destruction, it's evolution. As if on cue, several of the Tsar Nixus began to convulse, their armor splitting to reveal the hybrid forms beneath. Cries of pain and confusion filled the air. Zion made a decision. He holstered his weapon and stepped forward, hands raised. Listen to me. We don't have to fight. Your leader speaks the truth. We can work together, find a solution that saves both our species. The lead Tsar Nixus warrior trembled, its weapon wavering. But the invasion, our mission, was based on fear and misunderstanding, Zion finished. But it's not too late to change course. Help us stop this attack, and we can forge a new path, together. For a tense moment, it seemed the Tsar Nixus might open fire. Then, slowly, the lead warrior lowered its weapon. Others followed suit, some collapsing as the transformation overtook them. I've done it, Ramai shouted triumphantly. I'm patched into the Earth Defense Fleet's comm system. Zion rushed to the console. This is Captain Zion Reed to all Earth forces. Cease fire immediately. I repeat, cease all attacks on the Tsar Nixus mothership. The situation has changed. The fate of humanity hangs in the balance. Stand down and await further instructions. For several agonizing seconds, there was no response. Then, a familiar voice crackled through the speakers. This is Admiral Atlas Gray. Captain Reed, you'd better have one hell of an explanation for this. Zion allowed himself a small smile of relief. Admiral, you have no idea. Prepare for a data burst that's going to change everything we thought we knew about this war. As Ramai began transmitting the information about the Tsar Nixus transformation and the true nature of their mission, Zion turned to Vex Nari. The alien leader's form had stabilized into a perfect blend of human and Tsar Nixus features. What happens now? Zion asked. Vex's expression was one of cautious hope. Now, Captain Reed, we begin the real work. Healing the wounds between our people, learning to coexist, and facing the future as a united species. As the sounds of battle faded and the ship's tremors subsided, Zion thought of Lyra and Celeste, waiting in their stasis pods. He thought of Earth, battered but unbroken, and he thought of the incredible journey that lay ahead. Together, Zion nodded, extending his hand once more to Vexnari. This time, there was no hesitation as they clasped hands, sealing a pact that would reshape the destiny of two civilizations. The real challenge, Zion realized, was just beginning. The days following the ceasefire were a whirlwind of diplomacy, scientific breakthroughs, and cultural exchange. The Tsar Nixus mothership, once a symbol of terror, became a floating embassy where humans and aliens worked side by side to navigate their shared future. Zion found himself at the center of it all, a bridge between two species on the brink of a revolutionary symbiosis. As he strode through the now familiar corridors of the mothership, he marveled at how quickly things had changed. Humans in lab coats worked alongside partially transformed Tsar Nixus, their combined intellects tackling problems that neither species could have solved alone. He entered the main laboratory, where Dr. Sage Frost was deep in conversation with Vex Nari. The sight still struck him as surreal, humanity's brightest scientific mind collaborating with the leader of what was once thought to be an invading alien force. "Ah, Captain Reed," Sage greeted him, her eyes alight with excitement. "You're just in time. We've made a breakthrough in understanding the genetic resequencing process." Vex nodded, his hybrid features animated. "Indeed, Dr. Frost's insights into human emotional responses have allowed us to refine the integration process. We believe we can now control and direct the transformation with much greater precision." Zion raised an eyebrow. "What does that mean for those still in stasis? For For my family. Sage's expression softened. It means we're almost ready to begin awakening them, Zion. But there's something you need to understand first. She pulled up a holographic display, showing 2 DNA strands intertwining. The merger between human and Tsar Nix's DNA is more complex than we initially thought. Those who undergo the process won't simply be human with a few alien enhancements, or vice versa. They'll be something entirely new. A true hybrid species, Vex added, with the potential to surpass both parent races in capability and adaptability. Zion's mind reeled at the implications. And there's no way to reverse it, to keep them fully human. Sage shook her head. The process has already begun for those in stasis. Halting it now could be fatal. But Zion, you need to understand this isn't a loss. It's an evolution, a step forward for both our species. Before Zion could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Remai's voice came over the intercom, tense and urgent. Captain, we've got a situation in Stasis Chamber 3. You need to get down there now. Zion's heart leapt into his throat. That was where Lyra and Celeste were being kept. Without a word, he sprinted from the lab, Vex and Sage close behind. They arrived at the stasis chamber to find chaos. Several pods had opened prematurely, and disoriented, partially transformed humans were stumbling out. Medical teams, both human and Tsar Nixis, rushed to stabilize them. And there, in the center of it all, stood Lyra. Her skin had a faint, iridescent sheen, and her eyes glowed with an inner light that was both alien and hauntingly beautiful. In her arms, she cradled Celeste, who appeared to be midway through her own transformation. Zion? Lyra's voice was a mixture of confusion and wonder. What's happening to us? He approached slowly, tears welling in his eyes. Lyra, there's so much to explain. But as he drew closer, Celeste stirred in her mother's arms. The child's eyes opened, revealing irises that swirled with colors no human eye had ever possessed. She looked at Zion and smiled, a smile that held all the innocence of the daughter he remembered, and something more, something that hinted at the vast potential of what she was becoming. Daddy, Celeste said, her voice carrying an odd harmonic quality. We're different now, but it's okay. We're still us. Zion felt a lump in his throat. He reached out, gently touching Celeste's cheek, then Lyra's hand. The contact sent a small shock through him, a hint of the changes they'd undergone. Yes, he managed to say, his voice thick with emotion. You're still you, and I'm still me. We're just more now. Vex stepped forward, addressing the room at large. This is a momentous day. The first true awakening of our new, combined species. There will be challenges ahead, adjustments to make. But together, we will forge a future brighter than either of our races could have imagined alone. As medical teams continued to work around them, and more stasis pods began the awakening process, Zion held his family close. He thought of the long road that had led to this moment, the devastation of the initial attacks, the desperate mission to the mothership, the revelation that had changed everything. Humanity's tears had indeed been their salvation, but not in the way anyone had expected. They hadn't been a weapon to destroy the Tsar Nixis, but a key to unlock a shared destiny. As Celeste's small hand, now bearing intricate, swirling patterns, grasped his finger, Zion realized that this was just the beginning. The real adventure, the true test of what their new, combined species could achieve, was only just beginning. And for the first time in longer than he could remember, Zion Reed smiled, tears of joy and wonder sliding down his cheeks. The observation deck of the Tsar Nixis mothership offered a panoramic view of Earth, a blue marble suspended in the void. Zion stood there, his reflection in the transparent alloy, a stark reminder of his own transformation. Iridescent patterns swirled beneath his skin, and his eyes held a depth that was both unsettling and mesmerizing. Footsteps approached, and Ember joined him at the viewport. Her fiery hair now literally smoldered, tiny embers dancing at the tips. Still brooding, Captain? She asked, a hint of her old sarcasm coloring her now melodious voice. Zion shook his head. Contemplating, It's been a month since the first awakenings, and sometimes I still can't believe how much has changed." Ember snorted, a sound that produced a small puff of smoke. "That's an understatement. Have you seen Ramai lately? He's practically merged with the ship's systems. Says he can feel the data flowing through the neural networks." "And how are you adapting?" Zion asked, noting the way Ember's skin seemed to flicker with an inner fire. She flexed her fingers, small flames dancing between them. "Let's just say I won't need my old demo charges anymore. But it's not just the physical changes, Zion. It's everything. The way I think, the way I feel. It's like someone cranked up the volume on life itself." Their conversation was interrupted by Caspian's arrival. The former medic's transformation had given him an almost ethereal quality, his movements fluid and graceful. "Captain, we've got a situation planetside," Caspian reported. "A group of unmodified humans is protesting outside the New Geneva Accords building. They're demanding an end to the alien corruption of humanity." Zion sighed. Despite the miraculous advancements and the generally positive reception to the human Tsar Nixus integration, pockets of resistance remained. "I'll head down there," Zion decided. "Maybe seeing one of their own might help ease their fears." As they made their way to the shuttle bay, they passed labs and workshops where hybrid scientists worked on projects that would have been inconceivable just months ago. In one room, a team was developing new forms of energy production by harnessing the quantum properties of their new biology. In another, researchers were exploring ways to terraform harsh planets using modified human Tsar Nixus DNA. The shuttle ride to Earth was brief, their new technology making the journey almost instantaneous. As they approached the protest site, Zion could see the crowd gathered outside the sleek, biomechanical structure of the New Geneva Accords building. Landing in a cleared area, Zion stepped out to face the protesters. Their shouts died down as they took in his appearance, a mix of fear and awe on their faces. "I know you're afraid," Zion began, his voice carrying easily across the crowd. "Change is always frightening, especially when it's so fundamental. But I stand before you not as an alien, not as a threat, but as the next step in our shared journey." He gestured to the city around them, where signs of the integration were everywhere. Buildings that melded traditional architecture with living, alien materials. Vehicles that seemed to float on fields of energy. People, both transformed and not, going about their daily lives. "Look around you," Zion continued. "In just a few months, we've cured diseases that plagued us for centuries. We've solved energy crises and begun to reverse climate change. We're reaching for the stars not as conquerors, but as explorers, with the combined knowledge of two ancient species." A murmur ran through the crowd. Zion could see doubt and curiosity warring with fear on many faces. "I'm not here to force anyone to change," he assured them. "Those who wish to remain unmodified can do so. But I urge you to keep an open mind. This isn't the end of humanity, it's a new beginning." As he spoke, a young girl in the crowd caught his eye. She stared at him with a mixture of wonder and hope, reminding him of Celeste. In that moment, Zion realized that this new form of humanity, this blend of two species, wasn't just about technological advancement or survival. It was about opening up new realms of possibility, of understanding, of connection. "We stand at a crossroads," Zion concluded. "We can cling to what we were, or we can embrace what we might become. The choice is yours. But know this, whatever you decide, we are all still human at our core. And together, there's no challenge we can't overcome." As his words sank in, the mood of the crowd began to shift. Questions replaced accusations. Curiosity overcame fear. It wasn't a complete victory, but it was a start. Returning to the shuttle, Zion felt a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead would be challenging, filled with obstacles both expected and unforeseen. But for the first time in a long while, he felt genuinely optimistic about the future. As the shuttle lifted off, Earth receding below them, Zion allowed himself a moment of reflection. They had come so far from those desperate days when tears were weapons. Now, those same tears were the foundation of a new era, one brimming with potential. The real work was just beginning, and Zion Reed was ready to face it head-on. 6 months after the integration began, Zion found himself standing before the newly formed Galactic Council. The chamber, a marvel of hybrid architecture, pulsed with bio-light light that responded to the emotions of those present. Representatives from Earth's nations sat alongside transformed humans and Tsar Nixis, their appearances a spectrum of the integration process. Some, like Zion, were fully hybridized. Others remained mostly human, with only subtle alien characteristics. At the center of the chamber stood a holographic projection of the Milky Way, dotted with points of light representing potential colony worlds. Admiral Atlas Gray, his once graying hair now a striking silver that seemed to shimmer with starlight, called the session to order. "We're here to discuss the Exodus Initiative," he announced, his voice resonating with newfound strength. "Captain Reed, please present your proposal." Zion stepped forward, feeling the weight of the moment. "Thank you, Admiral. Colleagues, friends, fellow pioneers of our new civilization, I stand before you with an unprecedented opportunity." He gestured to the galactic map. "Our combined technologies have identified dozens of habitable worlds within our reach. Worlds that, until now, were beyond our capabilities to colonize." The map zoomed in on a cluster of stars. The Exodus Initiative proposes sending out 10 colony ships, each carrying a diverse group of volunteers. These colonies will serve as beacons of our new civilization, spreading out across the galaxy. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Lark, now sporting biolight tattoos that shifted with their moods, spoke up. "And the risks? We're talking about sending people far beyond any hope of quick rescue." Zion nodded, acknowledging the concern. "You're right, Lark. It won't be easy, but our new biology makes us uniquely suited for this challenge. We can adapt to environments that would have been lethal to either of our original species." Dr. Sage Frost, her eyes now capable of perceiving spectrums far beyond human norm, added her perspective. "Moreover, our research indicates that the integration process may continue to evolve. These colonies could develop unique adaptations based on their environments, further expanding our understanding of our own potential." The debate continued for hours, with concerns raised and addressed. The ethical implications of potential further mutations, the logistics of maintaining communication across vast distances, the protocols for first contact with any new alien species they might encounter. As the session neared its end, Vex Nardi, who had remained silent until now, rose to speak. His form had stabilized into a perfect blend of human and Tsar Nixis, embodying the balance they all strived for. "My friends," he began, his voice carrying a harmonic quality that commanded attention, "not long ago, our two species stood on the brink of mutual destruction. Now, we stand united, poised to take a leap into the unknown. This is more than an initiative for colonization. It is a testament to what we can achieve when we combine our strengths, when we face our fears and embrace change." His words seemed to resonate with something deep within each person present. Zion felt a swell of emotion, a complex mix of pride, hope, and anticipation that he knew was shared by many in the room. The vote, when it came, was nearly unanimous. The Exodus Initiative would proceed. As the council members filed out, discussing the monumental task ahead, Zion felt a hand on his shoulder. He turned to see Ember, her hair now a constantly shifting flame that never seemed to burn. "So, Captain," she said with a grin that literally sparked, "ready to lead us into the great unknown?" Zion raised an eyebrow. "Us?" Ember's grin widened. "You didn't think we'd let you have all the fun, did you? The old team's already volunteered for the first colony ship. Someone's got to keep you out of trouble out there." Before Zion could respond, a commotion near the chamber's entrance caught their attention. A group of unmodified humans had managed to gain access, led by a familiar face, Arden Vale, once a vocal opponent of the integration. Zion tensed, preparing for confrontation. But as Arden approached, he saw something unexpected in the man's eyes: curiosity. "Captain Reed," Arden said, his voice hesitant but determined. We've been watching, listening. Maybe we were too quick to judge. We'd like to learn more about this Exodus initiative, about integration. It was a small step, but a significant one. As Zion began to explain, he realized that this was the true heart of their mission. Not just to explore new worlds, but to bridge divides, to foster understanding, to grow not just as individuals, but as a civilization. The galaxy awaited, vast and full of mysteries. But the greatest frontier, Zion knew, was still within themselves, in the endless potential of their combined heritage. As the holographic stars twinkled around them, Zion felt a familiar sensation, a tear forming in the corner of his eye. But this tear wasn't a weapon or a key to transformation. It was simply a sign of the profound emotion of the moment, a symbol of the journey that lay ahead. The future, with all its challenges and wonders, beckoned, and humanity, in its new and ever-evolving form, was ready to answer the call. The launch day of the first Exodus ship, christened Nova Dawn, arrived with a mixture of anticipation and solemnity. The massive vessel, a seamless blend of human ingenuity and Tsar Nixus biotechnology, hovered above the new Geneva spaceport, its hull shimmering with an almost sentient energy. Zion stood at the base of the boarding ramp, watching as the last of the colonists made their way aboard. Each face that passed him told a story: excitement, fear, determination. Some were fully integrated hybrids, others only partially transformed, and a few remained unmodified humans who had chosen to embrace this new frontier. Caspian approached, his movements fluid and precise. "Final checks are complete, Captain. The biosystems are functioning at optimal levels, and the stasis chambers are prepped for the long journey." Zion nodded, feeling a complex swirl of emotions that his enhanced senses now allowed him to process on multiple levels. "Thank you, Caspian. How are our passengers holding up?" "Remarkably well," Caspian replied. "The communal link is helping to soothe anxieties. It's fascinating how the shared consciousness adapts to group dynamics." The communal link was one of the more controversial aspects of their new biology. It allowed for a form of limited telepathic connection, fostering understanding and cooperation on an unprecedented level. Yet it also raised concerns about individuality and privacy. Remai's voice crackled over the comm, tinged with an electronic resonance that reflected his deep integration with the ship's systems. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. They're requesting your presence for a final address." Zion made his way to the ship's bridge, an organic-looking space where traditional control panels merged seamlessly with neural interfaces. A holographic projection flickered to life, showing the assembled council members. Admiral Gray spoke first, his voice carrying across light years without delay, thanks to their new quantum communication technology. "Captain Reed, colonist of the Nova Dawn, you stand at the threshold of a new era. Your journey will take you further than any human or Tsar Nixus has ever ventured. The hopes and dreams of our united civilization go with you." Vex Nari stepped forward, his hybrid features solemn. "Remember, you carry within you the legacy of two great species. Let that legacy guide you as you face the unknown. May you find new worlds, new civilizations, and new aspects of yourselves." As the transmission ended, Zion turned to his crew. Ember stood at the weapons console, her fiery hair dancing with anticipation. Lark manned the navigation systems, their biolite patterns pulsing in sync with the ship's rhythms. And there, by the science station, stood Lyra and Celeste, their presence a constant reminder of what they were fighting for. "Final boarding call," Remai announced. "All systems are go for launch." Zion took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. "Crew of the Nova Dawn, this is your captain speaking. In a few moments, we'll be leaving behind everything we've known. We carry with us the hopes of two civilizations and the potential to reshape the very concept of what it means to be human, to be Tsar Nixus, to be alive." He paused, looking at each face on the bridge. "There will be challenges ahead. Worlds we can't imagine, dangers we're not prepared for. But we face them together, as a united people. Our tears once divided us, then transformed us. Now, they bind us in a shared destiny. Zion settled into the captain's chair, feeling the ship's systems link with his enhanced biology. Ramai, begin launch sequence. Lark, plot our course to the Andromeda arm. Ember, keep those weapons hot, just in case. Let's make history. As the Nova Dawn rose into the sky, breaking free of Earth's gravity, Zion felt a surge of emotion from the communal link. Fear, excitement, sorrow at leaving home, and overwhelming hope for the future all mingled together. The stars stretched into lines as they engaged the quantum drive, venturing into the unknown. Zion allowed himself a small smile, thinking of the long journey that had brought them to this point. From a desperate battle for survival to the cusp of a new age of exploration. As Earth faded from view, replaced by the vast expanse of uncharted space, Zion realized that the true legacy of the Tearfall wasn't the transformation of their bodies or the merging of two species. It was the transformation of their spirits, the breaking down of barriers between individuals, between cultures, between worlds. The future stretched out before them, infinite in its possibilities, and as the Nova Dawn carried them into that future, Zion knew that whatever challenges they faced, whatever wonders they discovered, they would face them as one. The journey of tears had ended. The journey of hope had just begun. Captain Zion Reed stood at the viewport of the Nova Dawn, his iridescent eyes reflecting the swirling nebula before him. 5 years into their journey, the ship had become more than just a vessel. It was a living, evolving ecosystem of hybrid human Xar Nixis civilization. "Captain," Ramai's voice resonated through the ship's neural network, carrying a hint of excitement. "We're detecting an anomalous signal from the heart of the nebula. It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Zion felt a ripple of curiosity pulse through the communal link, the shared consciousness of the crew responding to the news. "Can you isolate it, Ramai?" "Working on it," Ramai replied. The view screen shifted, zooming in on a section of the nebula. As the gas clouds parted, a massive structure came into view, its geometry defying conventional physics. "By the stars," Zion breathed, awe flooding his enhanced senses. The structure was easily the size of a small moon, its surface a maze of interlocking shapes that seemed to shimmer and shift as they watched. Lark's voice chimed in, their biolite patterns pulsing with excitement. "Captain, the signal. It's not just a beacon. It's singing." As if on cue, a haunting melody filled the bridge, complex harmonies that resonated on frequencies beyond normal human hearing. Zion felt it in his bones, in the very cells of his hybrid body. "All hands to stations," Zion ordered, his voice steady despite the thrill of discovery coursing through him. "Ember, full sensor sweep. Caspian, I want a complete biological analysis of that structure. Lark, plot us a course to get closer, but maintain safe distance." As the crew sprang into action, Zion couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. The integration of human and Xar Nixis DNA had opened up new realms of possibility, enhancing their physical and mental capabilities beyond what either species could have achieved alone. Yet with those advancements came new challenges, new questions about the nature of their evolving identity. The Nova Dawn glided closer to the alien megastructure, its biomechanical systems adapting to the strange energies emanating from the construct. As they approached, intricate details became visible, vast arrays of what looked like crystalline circuitry, pulsing with an inner light that seemed almost alive. "Captain," Caspian's voice was filled with wonder. "The structure. It's not just a machine. It's organic, at least partially. And its genetic makeup. It's incredibly complex, far beyond even our hybrid biology." Zion felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. They had prepared for first contact scenarios, but nothing quite like this. "Can we establish communication?" Ramai's response came with a hint of frustration. "Negative, Captain. The signal patterns are too complex for our current translation algorithms. It's as if it's speaking in pure mathematics." Suddenly, the ship shuddered, caught in an invisible grip. Alarms blared as systems fluctuated wildly. "We're being pulled in," Lark shouted, their hands dancing over the controls. Some kind of tractor beam, but it's like nothing in our databases. Zion gripped his chair, feeling the Nova Dawn's distress through his neural link. All hands, brace for impact. Ember, be ready with defensive measures, but do not fire unless I give the order. We don't know if this is a hostile action or an invitation. As the massive structure loomed ever closer, filling their view with its impossible geometry, Zion realized that they stood on the precipice of something monumental. Whatever lay within that cosmic edifice would challenge everything they thought they knew about life, the universe, and their place in it. The Nova Dawn, carrying the hopes and dreams of their hybrid civilization, plunged into the unknown, and as the familiar stars disappeared behind them, replaced by the alien glow of the megastructure's interior, Zion Reed knew that their greatest adventure was only just beginning. The Nova Dawn's entry into the megastructure was a cascade of sensory overload. Zion and his crew found themselves enveloped in a kaleidoscope of light and energy, their hybrid senses struggling to process the influx of information. As the ship stabilized, they found themselves in a vast chamber, its walls lined with pulsating, crystalline structures. The air itself seemed alive with particles of light that danced and swirled in complex patterns. "Status report," Zion called out, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. Ramai's voice came through, tinged with awe and a hint of static. "All systems operational, Captain, but changed. The ship's biosystems are resonating with the environment. It's as if the structure is communicating with us on a cellular level." Caspian's fingers flew over his console, his eyes wide with wonder. "Captain, the genetic complexity of this place. It's rewriting our understanding of biology. The very air is teeming with nanoscopic organisms unlike anything we've ever seen." Zion felt it too, a tingling sensation that permeated his being. Through the communal link, he sensed a mixture of fear and exhilaration from the crew. "Lark, can you get a fix on our position?" Lark's biolight patterns flickered erratically as they worked. "Negative, Captain. Our navigation systems are confused. It's as if space itself is folded here. We could be anywhere or everywhere." "Ember, what about our defenses?" Ember's hair flared brightly as she responded. "Weapons are online, but, Captain, they're evolving. The ship's defensive systems are integrating with the surrounding energy field. I'm not sure what they're capable of now." Zion took a deep breath, centering himself. "All right, let's not jump to conclusions. Our mission is exploration and discovery. Let's do what we came here to do. Caspian, prepare an away team. Full environmental suits, but be prepared for anything." As Caspian assembled the team, Zion felt a familiar presence at his side. Lyra, her form shimmering with an inner light that had only grown more radiant over the years, placed a hand on his shoulder. Her touch conveyed volumes through their enhanced connection, a mixture of support, concern, and curiosity. Zion nodded, acknowledging her unspoken message. "I know, it's risky, but we need to understand this place. Whatever built this, it could change everything we thought we knew about the universe." The away team, led by Caspian and including Ember for security, prepared to disembark. As the airlock cycled, Zion addressed them one last time. "Remember your training, but be prepared to adapt. Our hybrid nature has prepared us for the unexpected. Stay in constant communication, and at the first sign of danger, fall back immediately." As the team stepped out onto the crystalline surface, Zion watched through the ship's sensors, every fiber of his being attuned to their experiences. The structure's floor seemed to respond to their presence, lighting up with each step in patterns that hinted at some vast, underlying intelligence. Suddenly, Ember's voice crackled through the calm, tense and urgent. "Captain, we've got movement. Something's approaching. Fast." Zion leaned forward, his enhanced vision straining to make out the shapes emerging from the swirling energy field. They were unlike anything he had ever seen, beings of pure light and vibration that seemed to phase in and out of existence. "Hold your positions," Zion ordered, his mind racing. "Do not engage unless they show clear hostile intent." As the light beings drew closer, a new sensation washed over Zion and the crew, a presence in their minds that transcended their communal link. It was vast, ancient, and undeniably alien. And then, in a language that was felt rather than heard, a single concept resonated through their collective consciousness. Welcome, children of two worlds. We are the architects, and you have been chosen. The implications of those words hung in the air, pregnant with possibility and danger. Zion realized that their journey had brought them to a crossroads not just of space, but of destiny itself. Whatever came next would shape not only their future, but potentially that of all sentient life. With a mixture of trepidation and determination, Zion prepared to face this new chapter in their odyssey, knowing that the true test of their hybrid legacy was about to begin. The architect's presence enveloped the away team, their light forms pulsating with complex patterns. Caspian, his scientific curiosity overriding his caution, took a step forward. Chosen? For what purpose? The response came not in words, but in a flood of images and sensations that cascaded through their hybrid minds. Visions of cosmic scale unfolded, galaxies birthed and dying, civilizations rising and falling across eons, and a looming threat that defied comprehension. Back on the Nova Dawn, Zion gripped his command chair, reeling from the psychic onslaught. "Remai, are you recording this?" "Affirmative, Captain," Remai's voice strained with the effort of processing the vast data stream. "But our systems are struggling to contain it all. This information, it's beyond our current storage capabilities." The visions coalesced into a coherent narrative. The architects, they learned, were the last remnants of an ancient race that had seeded life throughout the universe. This megastructure was one of many, a nexus point in a vast network designed to shepherd the evolution of sentient species. But something had gone wrong. A cosmic anomaly, a cancer in the very fabric of spacetime, threatened to unravel reality itself. The architects had long searched for a species with the potential to combat this threat, and in the hybrid human Tsar Nixus, they believed they had found their champions. As the psychic link faded, Ember's voice crackled through the calm, tight with tension. "Captain, the architects are changing. They're trying to interface directly with our hybrid biology." Zion's mind raced, weighing the potential benefits against the unknown risks. "Caspian, what's your assessment?" "It's incredible, Captain," Caspian replied, his voice filled with awe. "Their energy signatures are aligning with our genetic structure. I believe they're attempting to upgrade us, for lack of a better term." "Upgrade or overwrite," Zion muttered, his instincts warring with his curiosity. "Ember, be ready to extract the team at my signal. Lark, plot us an escape vector, just in case." But before any action could be taken, a new presence made itself known. From the swirling energy fields emerged another form of life, different from the architects. Where the architects were beings of pure light, these new entities seemed to be composed of living sound, their bodies a symphony of vibrating frequencies. "Intruders," the thought voice boomed through their minds. The architects overstepped their bounds. This sector falls under resonant protection. The chamber erupted into chaos. The resonants, as they called themselves, clashed with the architects in a spectacular display of light and sound. The away team found themselves caught in the crossfire, their hybrid bodies reacting in unexpected ways to the energies surging around them. "Fall back to the ship," Zion ordered, his voice cutting through the cacophony. "Remai, prepare for emergency departure." As the team scrambled back towards the Nova Dawn, Zion noticed something alarming. The ship's biomechanical systems were resonating with the conflict, parts of the hull beginning to shift and change in response to the alien energies. "Captain," Lark called out, their biolite patterns flashing urgently. "The structure's internal geometry is reconfiguring. Our exit point is closing." Zion made a split-second decision. "Ember, use the ship's new defensive capabilities. Create us a path out, whatever it takes." Ember's hands danced over her console, channeling the ship's evolving weapon systems. Beams of hybrid energy lanced out, carving a path through the shifting crystalline walls. As the away team tumbled back into the airlock and the Nova Dawn prepared to make its escape, Zion felt a final, powerful psychic message imprint itself on his mind. The key lies within you. Evolve, or the universe falls. The ship burst free from the megastructure, riding a wave of turbulent energy back into open space. But as the stars came back into view, Zion knew their ordeal was far from over. Whatever had happened in that alien construct had changed them, perhaps irrevocably. As the crew regrouped, trying to make sense of their experience, Zion stared out at the vast expanse of space, now seeming both more wondrous and more dangerous than ever before. The weight of the architect's choice and the resonance warning pressed heavily upon him. Their odyssey had taken an unexpected turn, thrusting them into a cosmic conflict beyond their wildest imaginations. And somewhere out there, a threat to reality itself loomed, waiting for them to rise to the challenge. The Nova Dawn hung in space, its hull shimmering with residual energy from their encounter. Inside, the med bay buzzed with activity as Caspian ran exhaustive tests on the away team. Zion stood by, watching as holographic displays flickered with rapidly changing genetic sequences. "What are we looking at, Caspian?" The scientist's eyes darted between screens, his expression a mix of fascination and concern. "It's extraordinary, Captain. The architect's attempt to upgrade us has catalyzed a new phase of evolution in our hybrid physiology. But it's unstable, unpredictable." Ember, lying on one of the biobeds, suddenly convulsed. Her fiery hair flared intensely, scorching the ceiling before she regained control. "Sorry," she gasped. "I can't. It's like my powers are amplified, but I can barely contain them." Similar incidents had been occurring ship-wide. Crew members reported enhanced abilities, but also dangerous fluctuations in their control. Remai's connection to the ship's systems had deepened to the point where he was having difficulty distinguishing between his thoughts and the ship's processes. Lark approached, their biolike patterns shifting erratically. "Captain, we've managed to put some distance between us and the megastructure, but our long-range sensors are picking up unusual activity. It seems our escape didn't go unnoticed." Zion nodded grimly. "Keep us at alert status. Caspian, I need answers. Are these changes permanent? And more importantly, are they dangerous?" Before Caspian could respond, a piercing alarm blared through the ship. Remai's voice, tinged with panic, echoed through the neural link. "Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth. It's not good." The main view screen flickered to life, showing a haggard-looking Admiral Gray. The once imposing figure seemed aged beyond his years, his silvery hair now dull and unkempt. "Zion," Gray's voice cracked with urgency, "we need you to return immediately. The situation here has deteriorated. The changes in our population, they're accelerating. We're losing control." The transmission cut to scenes of chaos on Earth. Hybrid individuals with wildly varying physical manifestations clashed in the streets. Some displayed godlike powers, while others suffered from grotesque mutations. "It's not just Earth," Gray continued. "Reports are coming in from all our colonies. Whatever is happening, it's affecting our entire species. Some are calling it the next step in our evolution. Others believe it's a plague that will destroy us all. We're on the brink of civil war." Zion's mind raced, connecting the dots. The architect's upgrade. It must have triggered a cascade effect through our entire population. Gray nodded solemnly. "We've managed to isolate a group of unaffected individuals, including most of the non-integrated humans. But they're a minority now, and tensions are rising. Zion, we need the Nova Dawn. Your crew might be the key to understanding what's happening to us." As the transmission ended, a heavy silence fell over the med bay. The weight of their situation pressed down on Zion. They were millions of light years from home, carrying within them changes that were reshaping their entire civilization, and pursued by forces they barely understood. Caspian broke the silence, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Captain, I believe I can stabilize our crew's conditions, at least temporarily. But to find a permanent solution, We'll need more data. We need to understand what the architects were trying to do. Zion closed his eyes, feeling the conflicting pulls of duty. Return home to a civilization in crisis, or press on into the unknown in search of answers that might save them all. The decision crystallized in his mind. Plot a course back to the megastructure, he ordered. We need answers, and that's the only place we're going to find them. Caspian, do what you can for the crew. Ember, Lark, I want constant scans for any sign of the resonance or other threats. As the crew sprang into action, Zion felt a familiar presence in his mind. Through their enhanced connection, he sensed Lyra's concern, her love, and her unwavering support. I know, he whispered, more to himself than to her. We're walking into the unknown. But sometimes, to save everything, you have to risk everything. The Nova Dawn's engines flared to life, propelling them back towards the alien megastructure and the secrets it held. Behind them, Earth teetered on the brink of chaos. Ahead, cosmic forces beyond their comprehension awaited. Their odyssey had become a race against time, with the fate of their entire species hanging in the balance. The Nova Dawn approached the megastructure with cautious determination. Its crystalline surface seemed to pulse with an inner light, as if anticipating their return. Zion stood on the bridge, his hybrid senses on high alert. Remai, any sign of the resonance? Negative, Captain, Remai replied, his voice carrying an electronic undertone. But there's something else. The structure. It's changing, reconfiguring itself. The viewscreen zoomed in, revealing intricate patterns forming across the megastructure's surface. Complex mathematical equations and DNA helices intertwined in a cosmic dance. It's like it's inviting us in, Lark observed, their biolite patterns mimicking the structure's rhythms. Zion nodded, a plan forming in his mind. Caspian, what's the status of our upgrades? The scientist's holographic projection appeared on the bridge, his form flickering with barely contained energy. Stabilized for now, Captain, but I can't guarantee for how long. Whatever the architects did, it's pushing our hybrid physiology to its limits. Then we'll have to work fast, Zion decided. Ember, prep a shuttle. We're going back in. As they approached the megastructure, a familiar sensation washed over them. The architect's presence, vast and ancient, touched their minds once more. You return, children of two worlds, the thought voice resonated. But you are changed, incomplete. The key remains unturned. The shuttle passed through an opening that seemed to form specifically for them, entering a vast chamber unlike anything they'd seen before. It was as if they had entered the neural network of a cosmic brain, with synapses of light and energy firing all around them. Zion led the away team out, their hybrid bodies humming with potential. Spread out, but stay alert. We need answers, not more questions. As they explored, holographic displays sprang to life around them, showing the history of the universe from the architect's perspective. Civilizations rose and fell, galaxies collided and merged, and through it all, the architects guided and shaped the course of evolution. Look at this, Caspian called out, his eyes wide with wonder. He stood before a display showing the merger of human and Tsar Nixus DNA. They've been guiding our evolution all along. The integration wasn't an accident. It was the next step in their grand design. Ember scoffed, her hair flickering with skepticism. So we're just lab rats in their cosmic experiment? Before anyone could respond, the chamber shuddered. The air itself seemed to vibrate with tension. Intruders, the thought voice of the resonance boomed through their minds. You dare return to this sacred place. The energy beings materialized around them, their forms a symphony of vibrating frequencies. But this time, instead of attacking, they seemed to study the away team with intense curiosity. You are changed, one resonant observed. The architect's touch is upon you, yet you resist the final transformation. Why? Zion stepped forward, his voice steady. We seek understanding. Our people are in crisis. The changes you speak of are tearing our civilization apart. The resonants conferred among themselves, their communication a complex harmony beyond human comprehension. Finally, one turned back to Zion. "The architect's plan is flawed," it declared. "They seek to create the perfect beings to combat the coming darkness. But in their haste, they risk unraveling the very fabric of reality." Suddenly, the chamber erupted in chaos. Architect and resonant energies clashed, creating a maelstrom of cosmic forces. The away team found themselves caught in the middle, their hybrid bodies reacting in unexpected ways to the surging energies. Zion felt a pull deep within his being, as if something was trying to emerge. Around him, he saw his crew members undergoing startling transformations. Ember's body became living flame, Caspian phased in and out of corporeal form, and Lark's biolight expanded into a dazzling light show. Through the chaos, a new voice cut through, neither architect nor resonant. It emanated from within Zion himself, yet it felt ancient and powerful. "The key lies not in perfection, but in balance," the voice declared. "Embrace your dual nature, for in unity lies the strength to face the coming storm." As the voice faded, Zion felt a surge of understanding. The final piece of the puzzle clicked into place. Their hybrid nature wasn't a stepping stone to some perfect form. It was the solution itself. With newfound clarity, Zion reached out with his mind, connecting not just with his crew, but with the very essence of the megastructure itself. Through this connection, he began to see the true nature of the cosmic threat they faced, and the role they were meant to play. The fate of not just their species, but of all reality, hung in the balance, and the key to salvation lay within the very thing that made them unique, their ability to bridge two worlds, to find harmony in diversity. As the energies around them began to stabilize, Zion knew that their greatest challenge still lay ahead. But for the first time since their odyssey began, he felt a glimmer of true hope. The chaos in the chamber subsided, leaving the away team transformed. Zion looked at his crew, marveling at their new forms. Ember's body flickered between solid matter and living flame. Caspian existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously, and Lark's biolight had evolved into a form of light-based communication. Zion himself felt changed. His consciousness expanded beyond the confines of his physical form. He could sense the ebb and flow of cosmic energies around him, the intricate dance of subatomic particles that made up reality itself. "Captain," Caspian's voice echoed with newfound depth, "I believe I understand now. Our hybrid nature, it's not just about combining two species. It's about achieving a state of quantum superposition on a biological level." The architects and resonance, their conflict momentarily halted, turned their attention to the transformed humans. "You have unlocked the potential we sought to nurture," the architect's collective voice resonated. "But the danger remains. The cosmic anomaly grows stronger." The resonance added, their harmonic tones vibrating through the chamber. "The balance of the universe hangs by a thread. Your kind may be the key, but are you prepared for the sacrifice it will demand?" Zion stepped forward, his form shimmering with barely contained energy. Show us what we're up against." In response, the chamber around them shifted, transforming into a three-dimensional map of the universe. At its center, a writhing mass of darkness pulsed ominously, tendrils of void reaching out to consume everything in its path. "The nullifier," the architects explained. "A cosmic cancer that devours reality itself. It grows stronger with each passing moment, and soon, not even we will be able to contain it." Ember's fiery form flared with determination. "So how do we stop it?" The answer came not from their alien hosts, but from within. Zion felt the knowledge unfold in his mind, a blueprint of cosmic scale. "We don't stop it," he realized aloud. "We transform it. Our hybrid nature, this state of quantum superposition, it allows us to exist between states of reality. We can use that to reshape the nullifier from within." Caspian's multiple quantum echoes nodded in unison. "A cosmic scale reconfiguration. But Captain, the energy required. It would mean sacrificing our current forms. We'd be changed on a fundamental level." The weight of the decision pressed down on Zion. He thought of Earth, of the chaos spreading through their civilization, of Lyra and Celeste waiting for his return, of the countless lives across the universe hanging in the balance. We need to warn Earth, Lark's light-based communication pulsed urgently. Prepare them for what's coming. Zion nodded grimly. Remai, he called out, establishing a link with the Nova Dawn. Send a quantum encrypted message to Admiral Gray. Transmit everything we've learned. Tell them we've found a way, but the cost is high. As Remai acknowledged the order, the chamber shuddered. The map of the universe distorted, showing the nullifier's expansion accelerating. Time grows short, the resonance warned. If you are to act, it must be now. Zion looked at his crew, seeing in their transformed faces the same mix of fear and determination he felt. Without words, they reached a consensus. They had come too far, seen too much, to turn back now. We'll do it, Zion declared, his voice carrying the weight of galaxies. But we'll need your help. All of you. Architects, resonance, you've guided species across the cosmos. Now it's time to take direct action. For a moment, the ancient alien races seemed to hesitate. Then, slowly, they began to merge their energies with the hybrid humans. The chamber filled with light and sound beyond mortal comprehension as cosmic forces coalesced around the small group of transformed beings. Zion felt the power building within him, beyond anything he had ever imagined. He saw glimpses of possible futures, of realities reshaped and remade. And at the core of it all, the pulsing heart of the nullifier, waiting to be confronted. As the energies reached their peak, Zion had one last thought of home, of the civilization they had left behind. I hope they understand, he whispered. I hope they'll forgive us for what we're about to do. With a final surge of will, Zion and his crew, now one with the cosmic forces of creation, launched themselves towards the heart of the nullifier. They pierced the veil of reality itself, plunging into the void between universes. The fate of all existence hung in the balance as they began their final, impossible task, to remake reality itself. The void between universes defied description. Zion and his crew, their forms now more energy than matter, navigated through a realm where the laws of physics were mere suggestions. Colors that had no name in any human language swirled around them, and concepts took on physical form. At the heart of this chaos lurked the nullifier, a cosmic abomination that devoured reality itself. Its presence was a wound in the fabric of existence, a hungry void that threatened to consume everything. Remember who we are, Zion's thoughts resonated through their shared consciousness. Our strength lies in our duality, our ability to exist in multiple states at once. As they approached the nullifier, its tendrils of anti-reality lashed out. Ember's fiery form intercepted the attack, her flames burning with the intensity of 1,000 suns. It's trying to unmake us, she called out, her voice a crackle of cosmic fire. Caspian, existing in multiple quantum states, analyzed the nullifier's structure. It's not just destroying reality, he realized. It's consuming information, the very data that makes up the universe. Lark's light-based form pulsed with urgency. We need to contain it before it grows any larger. Captain, your orders? Zion focused, drawing upon the combined knowledge of the architects and resonance now flowing through him. He saw the nullifier not as an enemy to be destroyed, but as an imbalance to be corrected. We need to create a new framework, Zion declared, a metastructure that can contain and redirect the nullifier's energy. Caspian, use your quantum states to map out the dimensional boundaries. Ember, we'll need your energy to power the transformation. Lark, your light will be the medium through which we reshape reality. As his crew moved into position, Zion reached out with his expanded consciousness, touching the very essence of the nullifier. He felt its hunger, its emptiness, and in that moment, he understood. It's not evil, Zion realized. It's incomplete, a failed attempt at universal reformation. We don't need to destroy it. We need to complete it. With this new understanding, Zion began to weave a new pattern of reality. He drew upon the dual nature of their hybrid existence, creating a framework that could exist in multiple states simultaneously. Caspian's quantum mapping provided the blueprint. Ember's cosmic fire fueled the transformation, and Lark's living light carried the information needed to reshape the void. The process was arduous, taxing them to their very core. Zion felt his consciousness stretch to its limits, touching realities beyond human comprehension. He saw glimpses of possible futures, of worlds unmade and remade, of civilizations rising and falling in the blink of a cosmic eye. As they worked, the nullifier began to change. Its hungry void slowly transformed into a swirling nexus of potential. The destructive force that had threatened to unmake reality became a crucible of creation. But the strain was immense. Zion could feel his crew's energy flagging, their hybrid forms struggling to maintain coherence in the face of such cosmic forces. "We're losing cohesion," Caspian warned, his quantum echoes beginning to destabilize. "Captain, we can't maintain this form much longer." Ember's flames flickered dangerously. "It's not enough. We need more power to complete the transformation." Zion knew what had to be done. In that moment, he made a decision that would echo across realities. "Then we give it everything we have. Our energy, our consciousness, our very essence. We become one with the new framework." Understanding dawned on his crew. This was no longer about saving their civilization or even their universe. It was about reshaping the very nature of existence itself. With a final, monumental effort, Zion and his crew poured everything they were into the transformation. Their individual consciousnesses merged with the cosmic energies swirling around them. The boundaries between self and universe blurred and faded. In that final moment, as their hybrid forms dissolved into pure energy, Zion had one last thought of home, of the civilization they had left behind. He sent a pulse of pure information across the cosmos, a message and a promise. "We are become creation itself. In our sacrifice, find hope. In diversity, find strength. The universe is reborn, and you are its guardians." With that final declaration, Zion Reed, once captain of the Nova Dawn, now a being of pure cosmic energy, embraced his new role as architect of reality. The nullifier, once a threat to all existence, became a wellspring of infinite potential. The universe shuddered, reality reshaped itself, and a new cosmic order was born. On Earth, Admiral Gray stood before a vast holographic display, surrounded by the remaining leaders of the hybrid civilization. The chamber buzzed with tension as they struggled to interpret the cascade of data pouring in from across the cosmos. "Another colony has gone dark," a voice called out. "That's the third this week." Gray's face, etched with worry, reflected the gravity of their situation. The changes triggered by the architect's upgrade had spiraled beyond their control. Some hybrid individuals had ascended to godlike states, while others suffered catastrophic mutations. Society teetered on the brink of collapse. Suddenly, the holographic display flickered and changed. A new signal, more powerful than anything they had ever encountered, cut through the chaos. The chamber fell silent as a familiar voice, layered with cosmic harmonies, filled the air. "We are become creation itself. In our sacrifice, find hope. In diversity, find strength. The universe is reborn, and you are its guardians." Recognition dawned on Gray's face. "Zion," he whispered. The message continued, conveying in mere moments a vast repository of knowledge. The assembled leaders gasped as understanding flooded their minds. They saw the nullifier, the cosmic transformation, and the sacrifice made by Zion and his crew. As the transmission ended, the chamber erupted into a flurry of activity. Scientists pored over the new data, strategists began formulating plans, and leaders debated the implications of this cosmic shift. Gray stood silent, processing the enormity of what had transpired. He thought of Zion, of the brave crew of the Nova Dawn, and the ultimate sacrifice they had made. Not just for Earth, not just for their hybrid civilization, but for all of existence. "Admiral," a young scientist approached, her eyes wide with excitement. "The data from Captain Reed's transmission, it's not just information. It's a key, a key to stabilizing our hybrid biology. Across the planet and throughout their colonies, the effects were already being felt. The chaotic mutations began to stabilize. Hybrid individuals found a new equilibrium, their enhanced abilities harmonizing with their core selves. But it wasn't just their biology that was changing. The very fabric of reality around them seemed more malleable, more responsive to their collective will. The boundary between thought and action, between imagination and reality, began to blur. Gray realized that this was the true legacy of Zion's sacrifice. They had been given the tools not just to survive, but to shape the very nature of their existence. "We need to act quickly," Gray declared, his voice cutting through the commotion. "Assemble a team of our best minds. We need to understand the full implications of this cosmic shift and prepare our people for what's to come." As the hybrid leaders dispersed, each tasked with a crucial role in this new era, Gray turned his gaze to the stars. The universe out there was changed, reborn through the sacrifice of a few brave souls. New wonders and new dangers undoubtedly awaited them. But for the first time since the crisis began, Gray felt a glimmer of true hope. They had been forged in the crucible of two species, tempered by cosmic forces beyond imagination, and now stood as the guardians of a reborn universe. The legacy of the Nova Dawn, of Zion Reed and his crew, would live on. Their sacrifice had opened the door to a future of infinite possibilities, a future where the hybrid civilization could truly fulfill its potential as a bridge between worlds, between realities. As the first reports of stabilized colonies came in, as scientists began to unravel the mysteries of their new cosmic heritage, Gray allowed himself a moment of reflection. The journey ahead would be challenging, filled with wonders and perils beyond imagination, but they would face it together, united in their diversity, strong in their hybrid nature. The Stardust Odyssey had ended, but the true adventure was just beginning. And somewhere, in the vast cosmic tapestry they now helped to weave, Gray liked to think that Zion and his crew were watching, guiding, their essence forever part of the grand design of the universe. A decade passed, and the hybrid civilization flourished in ways unimaginable before the cosmic transformation. Earth, once on the brink of chaos, had become a beacon of harmony and innovation. The stabilized hybrid biology allowed individuals to tap into the vast potential unlocked by Zion's sacrifice. Caspian Wolf Jr., son of the Nova Dawn's former science officer, stood atop the New Geneva Spire, a structure that defied conventional physics. Its crystalline surfaces pulsed with bio-light patterns, a living monument to their new understanding of reality. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Admiral Gray's voice, now carrying a hint of cosmic resonance, broke through Caspian's reverie. Caspian turned, nodding respectfully to the Admiral. Gray had become a bridge between the old guard and the new generation, his silver hair now streaked with strands that shimmered like starlight. "Admiral," Caspian greeted him, "I didn't expect to see you here." Gray's eyes twinkled with a wisdom that transcended his physical age. "Today's a big day, Caspian. The launch of the first Nexus ship. I wouldn't miss it for all the worlds in the cosmos." Together, they looked out over the sprawling cityscape. Hybrid technology had transformed every aspect of life. Buildings shifted and adapted to the needs of their inhabitants. Transportation occurred through localized wormholes. The very air seemed alive with nanites that maintained perfect ecological balance. But the true marvel lay beyond the atmosphere. There, in high orbit, the Nexus ship awaited its maiden voyage, a vessel unlike any before it, designed to navigate not just the physical cosmos, but the newly accessible layers of reality itself. "Your father would be proud," Gray said softly. "The work you've done, building on his research, it's revolutionary." Caspian nodded, a mix of emotions playing across his face. "I just wish he could see it. Sometimes I wonder if they're still out there somewhere. Zion, my father, the others." Gray placed a hand on Caspian's shoulder. "In a way, they're everywhere, part of the cosmic fabric we now help to weave. But I understand. It's why this mission is so important." A chime sounded, signaling the imminent launch. Caspian straightened, his hybrid form shimmering slightly as he focused his abilities. With a thought, he opened a portal, stepping through with Gray onto the bridge of the Nexus ship. The ship's interior was a marvel of hybrid engineering. Organic technology melded seamlessly with quantum-entangled systems. At its heart stood the cosmic core, a swirling vortex of energy that pulsed with the same rhythm as the transformed nullifier. Ember's daughter, Flare, stood at the helm, her body a controlled inferno of cosmic fire. Lark's protege, Echo, manned the communications array, their form a living hologram of light and sound. "All systems are go," Flare reported, her voice carrying the crackle of solar flares. "Cosmic core is stable and responsive." Caspian took his place at the science station, feeling the ship's systems integrate with his hybrid biology. This was more than a vessel, it was an extension of their very being, a key to unlocking the mysteries left in the wake of the cosmic transformation. "You all know the mission," Gray addressed the crew. "We've detected anomalies, echoes of the old universe persisting in the folds of our new reality. Your task is to investigate, to understand, and if possible, to complete the transformation that Zion and his crew began." The crew nodded solemnly, each feeling the weight of the legacy they carried. They were the children of two worlds, the inheritors of a cosmic rebirth, and the guardians of a universe still in flux. As final preparations were made, Caspian's gaze was drawn to a small hologram on his console. It showed the original crew of the Nova Dawn, his father standing proud among them. The image seemed to shimmer, and for a moment, Caspian could have sworn he saw them smile. "Cosmic core engaged," Flare announced, preparing for trans-dimensional jump. The Nexus ship hummed with power, the boundary between physical space and the cosmic lattice blurring around them. As they prepared to leap into the unknown, Caspian felt a surge of determination. They would honor the sacrifice made by Zion and his crew. They would unravel the mysteries of their reborn universe. And perhaps, somewhere in the infinite possibilities that now lay before them, they would find answers to the questions that still lingered in their hearts. With a flash of cosmic energy, the Nexus ship vanished from Earth orbit, embarking on the next chapter of their eternal odyssey. The Nexus ship emerged from its trans-dimensional jump into a realm that defied conventional description. Swirling nebulae of impossible colors intertwined with strands of pure mathematical concepts. Planets made of crystallized thought-orbited stars that pulsed with the rhythm of universal constants. Caspian's hybrid senses worked overtime, processing the influx of data. "Incredible," he breathed. "It's as if we're seeing the underlying code of the universe itself." Flare's fingers danced over her console, leaving trails of cosmic fire. "I'm detecting multiple anomalies. Pockets of old reality? It's like fragments of the previous universe are still persisting here." Echo's light form flickered with excitement. "Incoming transmission, but this shouldn't be possible. It's using pre-transformation protocols." Gray leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "Put it through." The bridge filled with static. Then a familiar voice cut through, distorted but unmistakable. "This is Captain Zion Reed of the Nova Dawn. If anyone can hear this, we need help. We're trapped. Reality fracturing around us. Please." The message cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Caspian's mind raced. It can't be, after all this time. Gray's face was a mask of concentration. "It's not impossible. Time and space work differently here. For them, the transformation might have just happened." "Or it's a trap," Flare warned, her form flaring defensively. "We've encountered cosmic mirages before." Caspian shook his head. "No, there's something more. Look at these readings, that pocket of old reality. It's maintaining integrity because of the presence of hybrid biology. They're acting as an anchor, preventing full integration with the new cosmic order." Gray nodded slowly. Which means we might be able to save them," Caspian finished, his eyes shining with determination. The Admiral considered for a long moment, weighing the risks against the potential reward. Finally, he nodded. plot a course, but be prepared for anything. This close to the foundations of reality, anything is possible. As the Nexus ship navigated the cosmic currents towards the anomaly, the crew prepared for the unknown. Flare charged the ship's defensive systems with her cosmic fire. Echo attuned the communication arrays to pierce through the veil between realities. Caspian recalibrated the cosmic core, ready to stabilize the pocket of old reality. They approached the anomaly, a swirling vortex of fractured spacetime. At its heart, barely visible through the chaos, the outline of a ship could be seen. The Nova Dawn, trapped in a moment between moments. Initiating contact, Echo announced, their light form pulsing with effort. The bridge of the Nexus ship shimmered, and suddenly they were looking at a ghostly projection of the Nova Dawn's interior. There stood Zion Reed, looking exactly as he had the day he left on his fateful mission. Beside him, the original crew, frozen in time. "Captain Reed," Gray called out, his voice thick with emotion. "Can you hear us?" Zion's form flickered, his eyes widening as he took in the sight of the Nexus ship's bridge. "Admiral, is that you? What's happened to you? To everything?" Caspian stepped forward. "Captain, my name is Caspian Wolf Jr. I'm the son of your science officer. We're here to help you, but we don't have much time. The universe has changed, transformed because of your actions. But this pocket of old reality is collapsing. We need to get you out." Confusion and wonder warred on Zion's face. "Son? But how long?" "There's no time to explain everything," Gray cut in. "Captain, we need you to trust us. What you did, the sacrifice you made, it saved not just our civilization, but reshaped the very nature of reality. But the job isn't finished. We need you, all of you, to complete the transformation." Understanding dawned in Zion's eyes. He looked at his crew, saw the determination mirrored in their faces, and nodded. "What do we need to do?" Caspian's hands flew over his console. "We're going to use the cosmic core to create a bridge between your reality and ours. But for it to work, you need to embrace the change. Let go of the old reality and open yourselves to the new cosmic order." The Nova Dawn's crew joined hands, their forms beginning to shimmer as the Nexus ship poured energy into the anomaly. The vortex of fractured spacetime began to stabilize, a bridge of pure cosmic potential forming between the two ships. "Now," Caspian shouted, "cross over." Zion led his crew across the bridge of light, their forms shifting and changing as they passed through the barrier between realities. As they stepped onto the bridge of the Nexus ship, the last vestiges of the old universe collapsed behind them. The original crew of the Nova Dawn stood transformed, their bodies now reflecting the full potential of their hybrid nature. Zion's eyes shone with the light of newborn stars. Caspian Asorta's form shifted through multiple quantum states. Ember's body blazed with the fire of creation itself. As the two crews faced each other, past and present, legacy and inheritors, the full weight of the moment settled upon them. They had closed the loop, bringing together the architects of their new reality with those who had inherited their cosmic legacy. Zion stepped forward, placing a hand on his namesake's shoulder. "It seems we have much to learn from each other." Gray nodded, a smile breaking across his face. "And much work still to do. The universe is vast, and there are still echoes of the old reality out there, waiting to be transformed." Caspian Jr. felt a surge of excitement and purpose. With the original Nova Dawn crew by their side, with the full power of their hybrid nature unleashed, there was no limit to what they could achieve. As the Nexus ship prepared to jump to its next destination, Caspian looked out at the swirling cosmic tapestry that surrounded them. The Stardust Odyssey that had begun with tears and transformation had come full circle. But it wasn't an ending. It was a new beginning, a chance to explore the infinite possibilities of their reborn universe. Together, the combined crews of past and present set their sights on the cosmic horizon. The next chapter of their grand adventure awaited, and they were ready to face it, united in their diversity, strong in their hybrid legacy, guardians and shapers of a universe reborn. The Stardust Odyssey continued, its legacy eternal, its potential limitless. The Nexus ship glided through a sea of crystallized time, fragments of past and future events swirling around its hull like cosmic debris. On the bridge, Zion Reed stood beside his younger namesake, Caspian Wolf Jr., both men's eyes fixed on the swirling vortex ahead. Another pocket universe, Caspian observed, his hybrid senses probing the anomaly. The readings are strange. It's as if the laws of physics themselves are in flux. Zion nodded, his form shimmering slightly as he adjusted to the unstable reality around them. Even after months of exploring this transformed cosmos, the wonders they encountered never ceased to amaze him. Any signs of life? Before Caspian could respond, a surge of energy washed over the ship. The bridge lights flickered, and for a moment, reality itself seemed to waver. Unidentified entity approaching, Echo's voice rang out, his light form pulsing with urgency. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. A being of pure energy materialized on the bridge, its form constantly shifting between shapes both familiar and utterly alien. When it spoke, its voice resonated not through the air, but directly in their minds. Children of the great mistake, the entity intoned, its mental voice carrying eons of wisdom and a hint of disdain. Your meddling has gone too far. Zion stepped forward, his posture both defensive and diplomatic. We mean no harm. Who? What are you? The entity's form coalesced into a vaguely humanoid shape, though its features remained fluid. We are the Eternals, the original shapers of reality. And you are an anomaly that must be corrected. With those ominous words, the entity raised a hand. Reality warped around them, the bridge of the Nexus ship stretching and twisting like a reflection in a funhouse mirror. Caspian felt his hybrid biology struggling to adapt, his very atoms seeming to vibrate at conflicting frequencies. Brace yourselves, Zion shouted, his body emanating waves of stabilizing energy. Whatever happens, stay together. As the crew fought to maintain their cohesion, the Eternal's voice echoed once more in their minds. Your transformation has upset the cosmic balance. Witness the chaos you have wrought. The viewscreen erupted with images of distant star systems in turmoil. Planets phased in and out of existence, suns collapsed and rebirthed in impossible cycles, and entire galaxies twisted into Möbius strips of spacetime. Amidst the cosmic chaos, Caspian noticed something strange. In pockets of the disrupted space, new forms of life were emerging. Beings of pure energy and thought, evolving at an accelerated rate, adapting to the fluctuating laws of physics. Look, he called out to Zion. The instabilities, they're not just destroying, they're creating. Zion's eyes widened as he took in the sight. Of course, the cosmic transformation didn't just reshape our reality, it opened the door to entirely new forms of existence. The Eternal's form flickered, a hint of uncertainty crossing its features. Impossible. We are the sole arbiters of cosmic order. These aberrations cannot be allowed to persist. With a gesture, the entity began to unravel the pocket universe around them. The newly born energy beings cried out in a chorus of mental anguish as their fledgling realities started to collapse. Zion felt a surge of protective instinct. Without fully understanding how, he reached out with his hybrid abilities, creating a bubble of stable spacetime around the evolving entities. No, you can't just destroy them because they don't fit your vision of the cosmos. The Eternal recoiled, clearly surprised by Zion's ability to counter its power. You dare challenge the natural order, the order we established at the dawn of time. Caspian stepped up beside Zion, adding his own energy to the protective field. Maybe it's time for a new order, one that embraces change and diversity instead of fearing it. As the two men stood their ground, the rest of the crew rallied behind them. The bridge of the Nexus ship became a beacon of stability in the chaotic sea of unraveling spacetime. The Eternal regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and growing concern. You are more than you appear, children of two worlds, but your meddling has only begun to draw attention. The others will not be as lenient as I. With those cryptic words, the entity vanished in a flash of cosmic energy. The pocket universe around them stabilized, the newborn energy beings pulsing with gratitude and curiosity. As the crew of the Nexus ship caught their breath, Zion and Caspian exchanged a look of determination. They had faced their first challenge from the self-proclaimed shapers of reality and held their ground. But it was clear that their journey had only just begun. "Plot a course to the nearest stable region," Zion ordered. "We need to warn the others. If there are more of these Eternals out there, our entire civilization could be at risk." As the Nexus ship prepared to jump, Caspian couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of a conflict that would reshape the very foundations of reality itself. The true test of their hybrid legacy was about to begin. The Nexus ship emerged from its quantum jump into a sector of space that defied conventional description. Ribbons of pure mathematical equations intertwined with clouds of sentient light, forming a cosmic tapestry that pulsed with life and possibility. Caspian's hands danced over the control console, his hybrid senses working overtime to process the influx of data. Incredible. The cosmic transformation seems to have accelerated in this region. It's as if reality itself is evolving. Zion nodded, his eyes fixed on the swirling patterns outside. Any sign of the Eternals? Before Caspian could respond, a surge of energy washed over the ship. The bridge lights flickered, and for a moment, reality itself seemed to ripple. "Incoming transmission," Echo announced, his light form pulsing with excitement. It's from Earth." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the face of Admiral Gray. The years had been kind to him, his silver hair now streaked with strands that shimmered like starlight. But there was a tension in his eyes that set Zion on edge. "Nexus ship, thank the cosmos we've reached you," Gray's voice crackled with urgency. "We've got a situation here that requires your immediate attention." Zion leaned forward, concern etching his features. "What's happened, Admiral?" Gray's image wavered, distorted by some unseen interference. "There's been a schism within the Council. A faction led by Counselor Vex is pushing for aggressive expansion into unstable regions of space. They claim to have unlocked new levels of our hybrid potential, but their methods are concerning." The transmission cut to images of hybrid individuals wielding powers that defied comprehension. Cities reshaped at a thought, planetary atmospheres altered with a gesture, and in one terrifying display, a small moon shattered into cosmic dust. "They call themselves the Ascendants," Gray continued. "They believe our encounter with the Nullifier was just the first step, that we're destined to replace the Eternals as the shapers of reality." Caspian exchanged a worried glance with Zion. "This can't be a coincidence. First the Eternals, and now this." Zion nodded grimly. "Admiral, we've made contact with beings calling themselves the Eternals. They claim to be the original architects of reality, and they're not happy with the changes we've made to the cosmos." Gray's eyes widened. "This complicates things. If the Ascendants provoke these Eternals, it could spark a war that would tear reality apart," Zion finished. Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge. Flair's voice cut through the chaos, tinged with urgency. "Multiple quantum ruptures detected. Something's coming through." The view screen shifted, showing a swarm of sleek vessels emerging from tiers in the fabric of space. Their design was a twisted reflection of the Nexus ship, as if someone had taken their technology and pushed it to monstrous extremes. "Ascendant ships," Caspian breathed, his hybrid senses recoiling from the twisted energies emanating from the vessels. "But how did they find us?" The lead Ascendant ship hailed them, and a familiar face appeared on the screen. Counselor Vex, his features warped by an overabundance of cosmic energy, grinned maniacally at them. "Ah, the prodigal hero's return," Vex's voice dripped with false warmth. "How fortunate that you've arrived just in time to witness the dawn of a new era. The era of the Ascendants." Zion stepped forward, his voice firm. "Vex, stand down. You don't know what forces you're dealing with. The Eternals." "Are relics of a bygone age," Vex interrupted. We are the new shapers of reality. Zion, join us, and together we'll remake the cosmos in our image. Before Zion could respond, space itself seemed to tear open. A massive, crystalline structure emerged from the rift, its geometry defying the laws of physics. Atop it stood a being of pure energy, its form dwarfing even the largest ascendant ship. Foolish children, the Eternal's voice boomed across space and time. Your hubris ends now. Witness the power of those who wrote the very laws of existence. As the Eternal raised its hand, reality began to warp and twist. The ascendant ships closest to the being started to unravel, their hulls peeling away like cosmic onion skins. Caspian turned to Zion, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and determination. "Captain, what are your orders?" Zion's mind raced, weighing their options. They were caught between two forces that could reshape or destroy reality itself. Whatever choice they made would have consequences that would echo across the cosmos. With a deep breath, Zion made his decision. Flare, power up the cosmic core. Echo, open a channel to both the Eternals and the Ascendants. It's time we showed them what true hybrid potential looks like. As the crew sprang into action, Zion couldn't help but feel that they were standing on the precipice of a conflict that would determine the fate of not just their civilization, but of reality itself. The cosmic crucible was heating up, and they were about to be tested in ways they could never have imagined. The Nexus ship's cosmic core thrummed with power, its energy resonating with the very fabric of spacetime. Zion stood at the center of the bridge, his hybrid form pulsing with barely contained cosmic energy. "Channel open to all parties," Echo announced, his light form flickering with the strain of maintaining the complex communication network. Zion's voice, amplified by the ship's systems and his own enhanced abilities, rang out across the dimensional rift. "This is Captain Zion Reed of the Nexus ship. To both the Eternals and the Ascendants, I implore you to stand down. This conflict threatens the stability of all reality." The massive Eternal loomed over them, its voice a thunderous cascade of cosmic harmonies. "You dare to lecture us, infant species, we who have shepherded reality since the dawn of time." Counselor Vex's laughter cut through the cosmic static. "And you, Zion, still clinging to outdated notions of restraint. We have evolved beyond such limitations." Caspian's hands flew over the sensor controls, his eyes widening at the readings. "Captain, the energy output from both sides is off the charts. If this escalates further, it could trigger a cascade failure across multiple realities." Zion nodded grimly, then turned his attention back to the standoff. "You're both right, and you're both wrong. We may be young, but we bridge worlds, realities, and you, Vex, have lost sight of what truly matters in your quest for power." With a thought, Zion activated the Nexus ship's most closely guarded secret. The vessel began to transform, its hull becoming translucent, revealing the intricate network of hybrid biology and cosmic technology within. Energy coursed through the ship and its crew, linking them in a symphony of unified purpose. "Behold," Zion declared, his voice resonating with newfound power. "This is the true potential of our hybrid nature. Not domination, but harmony. The ability to exist between states, to bridge divides, to find balance in chaos." The Nexus ship began to emit waves of stabilizing energy, creating a bubble of calm in the turbulent sea of warping realities. Within this field, the laws of physics reasserted themselves, but with a fluidity that allowed for infinite possibility without descent into chaos. The Eternal's form flickered, a hint of uncertainty crossing its features. "Impossible. This defies the fundamental laws we established." Vex's eyes gleamed with a mixture of awe and avarice. "Incredible. Zion, imagine what we could accomplish with this power. We could reshape the entire universe." But Zion stood firm. "That's not our purpose, Vex. We're not here to rule or reshape by force. We're here to guide, to explore, to find harmony between the old and the new." As he spoke, tendrils of hybrid energy extended from the Nexus ship, gently touching both the Eternal's crystalline structure and the Ascendant vessels. Where they connected, a flow of information and understanding began. The Eternal's form shimmered, its voice softer now. We had forgotten the joy of discovery, of change. We became so focused on maintaining order that we lost sight of the beauty of evolution. Vex's ship drifted closer, the manic energy that had consumed him beginning to fade. And we, in our haste to evolve, nearly destroyed everything we sought to improve. Caspian monitored the energy readings, a smile of relief spreading across his face. It's working, Captain. The dimensional rifts are stabilizing. Reality is harmonizing. Zion nodded, feeling the cosmic energies flowing through him, through the ship, through all of reality around them. This is just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, to understand. But we need to do it together, in balance. As the standoff de-escalated, new possibilities blossomed. The Eternal offered to share its ancient knowledge, while Vex and the Ascendants agreed to work within ethical boundaries to explore their expanding potential. But even as this crisis passed, Zion couldn't shake the feeling that they had only scratched the surface of the challenges that lay ahead. The cosmos was vast, filled with wonders and dangers beyond imagination. And somewhere out there, the echoes of eternity were calling, holding secrets that could reshape their understanding of existence itself. As the Nexus ship prepared to continue its journey, now accompanied by representatives from both the Eternals and the Ascendants, Zion turned to Caspian. Plot a course into the unknown, my friend. Our greatest adventure is just beginning. Caspian nodded, his hands dancing over the controls. The viewscreen filled with the swirling beauty of uncharted cosmic terrain, promising discoveries that would challenge everything they thought they knew about reality, their hybrid nature, and their place in the grand tapestry of existence. The Nexus ship surged forward, carrying with it the hopes, dreams, and infinite potential of a universe in harmony. The cosmic crucible had forged them anew, and the echoes of eternity beckoned them onward into a future limited only by their imagination. As the Nexus ship ventured deeper into uncharted cosmic terrain, the very nature of reality seemed to flux and flow around them. Caspian stood at the helm, his hybrid senses attuned to the ever-changing tapestry of spacetime. "Captain," he called out, his voice tinged with awe, "you need to see this." Zion moved to join him, his eyes widening at the sight before them. The viewscreen showed a vast cosmic web, pulsing with energy and information. Strands of pure thought intertwined with rivers of quantum probability, forming a structure that defied conventional understanding. "It's beautiful," Zion breathed. "But what is it?" The Eternal Representative, a being of pure energy who had taken the name Eon, floated forward. Its voice resonated directly in their minds. "This, young ones, is the cosmic nexus, the underlying structure of all realities, all possibilities." Vex, the former Ascendant leader, now serving as an advisor, leaned in closer. "Incredible. With access to this, we could." "We must proceed with caution," Zion interrupted, sensing the old hunger in Vex's voice. "Remember the lessons we've learned." Before anyone could respond, alarms blared across the bridge. Echo's light form pulsed urgently. "Captain, we're detecting multiple anomalies. Something's coming through the Nexus." The cosmic web before them began to ripple and tear. Through the gaps emerged strange, amorphous entities. They shifted and changed shape rapidly, as if struggling to maintain cohesion in this reality. Flux entities, Eon's mental voice carried a note of concern. Beings born from the instabilities of the cosmic transformation. They exist between realities, drawn to sources of great power. The flux beings swarmed towards the Nexus ship, their forms rippling with chaotic energy. As they approached, the ship's systems began to fluctuate wildly. "They're disrupting our hybrid systems," Caspian reported, his hands flying over the controls. "I can't maintain stability." Zion's mind raced, searching for a solution. Then, an idea struck him. Our hybrid nature, it's not just about combining two forms, it's about existing in multiple states at once. Caspian, initiate a quantum superposition of the ship's systems. Understanding dawned in Caspian's eyes. With a series of rapid commands, he engaged a protocol they had only theorized about. The Nexus ship began to shimmer, existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously. The effect was immediate. The flux entities, unable to lock onto a single reality state, passed harmlessly through the ship. But as they did, Zion felt a strange resonance, a connection to these beings born of cosmic chaos. "Wait," he called out, reaching out with his hybrid senses. "They're not attacking. They're searching, crying out for help." Eon's form flickered with surprise. "You can communicate with them?" "Impossible. They are beyond even our understanding." Zion closed his eyes, focusing on the strange connection he felt. Images and emotions flooded his mind, a shattered reality, countless beings lost in the void between worlds, a desperate search for stability. "They're refugees," Zion realized aloud. "When we transformed the cosmos, their home reality was destroyed. They've been adrift ever since, unable to fully exist in any one universe." Vex stepped forward, his eyes gleaming with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Can we help them? Stabilize them somehow?" Caspian's fingers danced over the ship's controls. "If we can modify our quantum superposition field, we might be able to create a stable pocket of reality for them. But it would take an enormous amount of energy." Zion nodded, determination setting in. "Do it. Divert power from all non-essential systems. Eon, Vex, we'll need your help to contain the field." As the crew sprang into action, the Nexus ship began to pulse with energy. A bubble of stable spacetime formed around them, expanding to encompass the flux entities. Slowly, the chaotic beings began to coalesce, taking on more defined forms. Through his connection, Zion felt their gratitude, their relief at finally finding a place where they could exist. But he also sensed something else, a warning, a glimpse of a threat lurking in the depths of the cosmic nexus. As the last of the flux beings stabilized, Zion turned to his crew, his expression grave. "We've done a good thing here, but our journey is far from over. There's something out there, something that threatens not just our reality, but all realities." Eon's form pulsed with concern. "What did you see, Captain Reed?" Zion's gaze turned to the vast expanse of the cosmic nexus, its endless strands stretching into infinity. "I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it's ancient, powerful, and it's been waiting for someone to unlock the secrets of the nexus." Caspian stepped up beside him, determination etched on his face. "Then we'll face it together, Captain. Whatever's out there, we'll be ready." As the Nexus ship prepared to delve deeper into the cosmic web, Zion couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of a discovery that would shake the foundations of existence itself. The echoes of eternity were growing louder, and the true test of their hybrid legacy was about to begin. The Nexus ship glided through the shimmering strands of the cosmic nexus, its hybrid systems humming in perfect harmony with the multidimensional fabric around them. Zion stood at the center of the bridge, his enhanced senses stretched to their limits as he attempted to decipher the cryptic warning from the flux beings. Caspian's voice broke through his concentration. "Captain, I'm detecting a massive energy signature ahead. It's like nothing we've ever encountered." The view screen shifted, revealing a colossal structure floating in the void between realities. It resembled an impossibly intricate clockwork mechanism, its gears and cogs made of pure energy and abstract mathematical concepts. Eon's form pulsed with recognition and a hint of fear. "The Eternity Engine," the Eternal whispered in their minds. "We thought it was just a myth, a story told to young Celestials." Vex leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with barely contained excitement. "What is it? What does it do?" Before Eon could respond, the space around the Eternity Engine began to warp and twist. Reality itself seemed to peel back, revealing a being of such cosmic magnitude that Zion felt his hybrid mind struggling to comprehend its true form. "Interlopers," a voice boomed across dimensions, shaking the very foundations of existence. "You dare to trespass in the realm of the cosmic architect." Zion stepped forward, his voice steady despite the awe and fear coursing through him. "We mean no harm. We are explorers, seekers of knowledge. Who are you?" The being's form shifted, taking on a vaguely humanoid shape that still dwarfed their ship. "I am the one who came before, the original creator, abandoned by my own creations." Eon's form flickered with shock. "Impossible. You're the one who created the Eternals." Created and discarded, the cosmic architect's voice dripped with ancient bitterness. "Left to slumber while you and your kind played at shaping realities. But now, the eternity engine nears completion. The time has come to reset the cosmic cycle, to start anew." Caspian's hands flew over the sensor controls. "Captain, the energy readings from that engine. If it activates, it could unravel the entire multiverse." Zion's mind raced, searching for a solution. They couldn't hope to match the raw power of this primordial being, but perhaps they could reason with it. "Great Architect," Zion called out, infusing his voice with all the authority he could muster. "We are not your enemies. We are the product of cosmic evolution, the union of multiple species and realities. Surely our existence proves that creation can thrive and grow beyond its original design." The cosmic architect paused, its vast consciousness focusing on the hybrid crew. "You are unexpected, a variable I had not foreseen." Seizing the moment, Zion pressed on. "The cosmos you set in motion has produced wonders beyond imagination. Yes, there have been conflicts, imbalances, but there has also been growth, discovery, and the emergence of new forms of existence. Would you really destroy all of that?" For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, the cosmic architect considered Zion's words. The eternity engine's gears slowed their ominous turning. Then, with a sound like the birth of a universe, the architect spoke again. Perhaps I have been too hasty, too focused on my own vision of perfection. Show me, hybrid one. Show me the wonders your kind has discovered." Zion nodded to Caspian, who began transmitting a stream of data. Images of transformed worlds, new forms of life, and the infinite possibilities unlocked by their hybrid nature flooded the cosmic datascape around them. As the cosmic architect absorbed this information, its form began to shift and change. The bitterness and anger that had fueled it for eons began to fade, replaced by a spark of curiosity that had long been dormant. "I had forgotten," the architect mused, its voice softer now. "The joy of the unexpected, the beauty of emergent complexity. Perhaps it is I who have been stuck in stasis, not my creations." Eon floated forward, its energy form pulsing with a mixture of awe and hope. "Great Creator, we have all lost sight of the wonder of existence at times. Perhaps together we can explore this new cosmos, learning from each other." The cosmic architect's form solidified, taking on a more defined shape that radiated not power, but wisdom. Yes, I would like that. But the eternity engine cannot be left unattended. Its power is too great, too dangerous. Zion felt an idea forming, a solution that could change everything. What if we repurposed it? Instead of a reset button for reality, what if we turned it into a cosmic observatory, a tool for understanding and gently guiding the evolution of the multiverse? The architect's form pulsed with renewed energy. "An intriguing proposal, hybrid one. It would require significant modifications, a blending of my original design with the new cosmic order you represent." Caspian stepped forward, his eyes shining with a thrill of a new challenge. "We could help with that. Our hybrid technology, combined with the Eternal's knowledge and the architect's original blueprints, we could create something truly revolutionary." As discussions began in earnest, plans forming for a new era of cosmic cooperation, Zion couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at how far they'd come. From a desperate battle for survival against the Tsar Nixus to standing at the crossroads of all reality, helping to shape the very nature of existence. The echoes of eternity that had called them here were not a warning, but an invitation to take their place as true cosmic citizens, bridging the gap between the old order and the new, between creation and evolution. As the Nexus ship prepared to dock with the Eternity engine, beginning the monumental task of its transformation, Zion knew that their greatest adventure was only just beginning. The cosmic crucible had forged them anew, and the future that stretched out before them was limited only by the bounds of imagination itself. Months passed in a blur of cosmic engineering and multidimensional negotiations. The Nexus ship, now permanently docked with a transformed Eternity engine, had become the nexus of a grand collaboration between the hybrid civilization, the Eternals, the Ascendants, and the cosmic architect itself. Zion stood in the newly constructed observation dome, a vast chamber that allowed direct viewing of the cosmic tapestry in all its mind-bending glory. Beside him, Caspian manipulated holographic controls, fine-tuning their connection to the remodeled engine. "It's incredible," Caspian breathed, his eyes reflecting the swirling patterns of reality. "We're not just observing the multiverse, we're seeing the underlying code of existence itself." Zion nodded, still in awe of what they had accomplished. The Eternity engine, once a tool of cosmic reset, now served as a grand observatory and gentle guiding hand for the evolution of reality. Its vast computational power, combined with the wisdom of the cosmic architect and the adaptability of their hybrid technology, allowed for unprecedented insight into the workings of the multiverse. "Any word from Earth?" Zion asked, his thoughts turning to the civilization they had left behind. Caspian's expression grew serious. "That's actually why I called you here, Captain. We've detected some anomalies in the sector containing our home universe." With a gesture, Caspian brought up a detailed view of their native reality. At first glance, everything seemed normal, but as Zion looked closer, he noticed subtle distortions in the fabric of spacetime. "What are we looking at?" Zion asked, a note of concern creeping into his voice. "It appears to be a cascading breakdown of dimensional barriers," Caspian explained. "The changes we initiated with our original transformation are still propagating, but not all realities are adapting as smoothly as ours did." Before Zion could respond, a familiar energy signature materialized beside them. Eon, the eternal representative, had joined their observation. "Your concerns are justified," Eon's mental voice resonated with gravity. "What you're seeing is the beginning of a reality quake. If left unchecked, it could tear apart the dimensional boundaries between multiple universes." Zion's mind raced with the implications. "Can we stop it? Stabilize the affected realities somehow?" Caspian's fingers danced over the controls, running simulations at impossible speeds. "Maybe, but it would require direct intervention. We need to go back, Captain. Back to where it all began." The weight of the decision pressed down on Zion. They had come so far, learned so much. The idea of returning to their original universe, with all its limitations and uncertainties, was daunting. But the alternative, allowing entire realities to be destroyed, was unthinkable. "Very well," Zion said, his voice filled with determination. "Prepare the Nexus ship for departure. We're going home." As they made preparations, the cosmic architect's voice echoed through the chamber. "Be cautious, hybrid ones. The journey you are about to undertake will test you in ways you cannot imagine. The fate of multiple realities hangs in the balance." Zion nodded solemnly. "We understand the risks, but we can't stand by and watch our home and countless other realities be torn apart." As the crew assembled on the bridge, Zion couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. They had explored the far reaches of the cosmos, unlocked secrets of reality itself, but now they faced a challenge that struck at the very heart of their origins. Caspian took his place at the helm, his hybrid senses attuned to the complex navigational requirements of their journey. "Course laid in, Captain. We'll be traversing multiple dimensional boundaries. It's going to be a rough ride." Zion settled into the command chair, feeling the familiar hum of the ship's systems resonating with his hybrid biology. "All hands, brace for trans-dimensional jump. Let's go save reality. Again." With a surge of cosmic energy, the Nexus ship detached from the Eternity engine and plunged into the swirling maelstrom of the multiverse. As they pierced the veil between realities, Zion caught glimpses of worlds both familiar and utterly alien, possible futures, alternate pasts, and realities that defied comprehension. Through it all, one thought burned in Zion's mind: no matter how far they had come, no matter how much they had evolved, their connection to their origins remained unbreakable. They were returning to where their journey began, armed with knowledge and power beyond imagination, to face a threat that could unravel the very fabric of existence. As the familiar contours of their home universe began to take shape around them, Zion steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The cosmic crucible had forged them into something new, something powerful. Now, it was time to put that power to the ultimate test. The echoes of eternity had led them on an incredible journey, and now those same echoes were calling them home. Whatever awaited them in the fragile realities of their origin, Zion knew that the true measure of their hybrid legacy would be determined by how they faced this final, crucial challenge. The Nexus ship burst into their home universe in a dazzling display of transdimensional energy. As reality stabilized around them, Zion and his crew were met with a sight that sent chills down their spines. Earth, once a vibrant blue marble, now pulsed with chaotic energy. Fissures of raw dimensional power crisscrossed its surface, and the very fabric of space around the planet seemed to warp and twist. By the architect, Caspian breathed, his hybrid senses reeling from the readings. The dimensional instability, it's far worse than we anticipated. Zion's mind raced, assessing the situation. Hail the Planetary Defense Network. We need to coordinate with whatever's left of our government. Moments passed in tense silence before a familiar face appeared on the viewscreen. Admiral Gray, looking far older than when they had last seen him, stared at them with a mixture of relief and desperation. "Zion, is that really you?" Gray's voice crackled with interference. "Thank the stars. We've been trying to hold things together, but the situation is deteriorating rapidly." Zion nodded grimly. "We're here to help, Admiral, but I need you to brief us on what's happened since we left." As Gray began his explanation, the full scope of the crisis became clear. The dimensional instabilities had begun small, almost unnoticeable, but as they grew, they triggered a cascade of events that threatened to tear reality apart. "The worst part," Gray continued, his voice heavy with fatigue, "is that we're not just dealing with our own universe anymore. We're getting visitors, alternate versions of ourselves, creatures from realities so alien we can barely comprehend them. Some are refugees, fleeing their own collapsing worlds. Others see this as an opportunity for conquest." Caspian's hands flew over the sensor controls, his expression growing more concerned by the second. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple dimensional breaches forming. Whatever we're going to do, we need to do it fast." Zion's mind whirled with possibilities, drawing on the vast knowledge they had gained during their cosmic odyssey. "We need to stabilize the dimensional boundaries, create a buffer zone to prevent further breaches. But to do that, we'll need to tap into the planet's core, use it as an anchor point for a new cosmic lattice." "Is that even possible?" Gray asked, hope and skepticism warring in his voice. "It has to be," Zion replied, determination setting in. "Caspian, begin calculations for a planetary-scale dimensional stabilization field. We'll need to modify the Nexus ship's cosmic core to act as a transmitter." As the crew sprang into action, alarms blared across the bridge. Echo's light form pulsed urgently. "Multiple hostile entities detected. They're coming through the largest dimensional rift." The viewscreen shifted, showing a terrifying sight. A swarm of biomechanical monstrosities poured through a massive tear in reality, their forms a nightmarish fusion of organic matter and interdimensional energy. "Void Reavers," Eon's mental voice resonated with dread. "Scavengers that prey on weakened realities. If they establish a foothold here, they'll consume everything." Zion's jaw set with grim determination. "We can't let that happen. Caspian, continue work on the stabilization field. I'll lead a team to hold off the Void Reavers." "Captain," Caspian protested, "you can't be serious. Those things, are a threat we're uniquely qualified to handle, Zion finished. Our hybrid nature, our experiences beyond this reality, we're the best chance this world has. As Zion prepared to lead a defensive team, he couldn't help but reflect on the irony of their situation. They had journeyed to the farthest reaches of the cosmos, unlocked the secrets of reality itself, only to find that their greatest battle would be fought in defense of their original home. The Nexus ship's hangar bay opened, and Zion, along with a select team of hybrid crew members, launched towards the dimensional rift. As they approached, Zion felt the full weight of their responsibility settle upon him. This wasn't just about saving Earth, or even their home universe. The fate of countless realities hung in the balance. As the first wave of Void Reavers approached, Zion channeled the cosmic energy that now flowed through his hybrid form. "Remember who we are," he called out to his team. "We are the bridge between worlds, the synthesis of realities. Let's show these interdimensional parasites what true cosmic power looks like." With that battle cry, Zion and his team plunged into the fray, their hybrid abilities flaring with newfound strength. The skies above Earth erupted in a spectacular display of cosmic warfare, as the defenders of reality clashed with the consumers of worlds. Back on the Nexus ship, Caspian worked feverishly to complete the calculations for the stabilization field, knowing that every second counted. The fate of not just their world, but of the entire multiverse, now rested on their ability to close the dimensional rifts and drive back the Void Reavers. As the battle raged, Zion couldn't help but feel that this was the moment their entire journey had been leading to. Every challenge they had faced, every discovery they had made, had prepared them for this crucible. Now, it was time to prove that their hybrid legacy was truly the key to safeguarding the future of all realities. The sky above Earth blazed with cosmic fire as Zion and his team engaged the Void Reavers. Their hybrid abilities, honed by their journey through the multiverse, proved to be a formidable match against the interdimensional invaders. Zion weaved through the chaotic battlefield, his form shifting between states of matter and energy. With a thought, he generated shields of pure cosmic force, deflecting the Void Reavers' attacks. His counterstrikes, infused with the power of multiple realities, tore through the invaders' biomechanical forms. "Keep them contained," Zion shouted to his team. "We need to buy Caspian enough time to activate the stabilization field." As the battle raged, Zion caught glimpses of his crew's incredible abilities. One hybrid officer phased in and out of reality, confounding the Void Reavers' attacks. Another manipulated gravity itself, crushing groups of invaders into singularities. But for every Void Reaver they defeated, more poured through the dimensional rift. The sheer numbers were overwhelming, and Zion could feel his team's energy flagging. Suddenly, a familiar voice crackled through his calm. "Captain," it was Caspian, his voice tight with urgency. "We're ready to activate the stabilization field, but there's a problem. The dimensional interference is too strong. We need a direct link to the planet's core to anchor the field." Zion's mind raced, assessing their options. "What kind of link are we talking about?" "It needs to be biological," Caspian replied. "A living conduit that can channel the cosmic energy and withstand the dimensional flux. But the power required, it would be fatal for a normal being." In that moment, Zion knew what he had to do. His hybrid nature, further enhanced by their cosmic odyssey, made him the perfect conduit. But the cost. "I'll do it," Zion declared, his voice steady despite the gravity of his decision. "Captain, no," Caspian protested. "There has to be another way." But Zion had already made up his mind. "There isn't time for alternatives. Prepare for activation. I'm heading to the focal point now." As Zion disengaged from the battle and streaked towards the coordinates Caspian had sent, he opened a channel to Admiral Gray. "Admiral, I need you to take command of the defense team. Keep those Reavers busy for just a little longer." Gray's voice was solemn, understanding the weight of what was about to happen. "It's been an honor, Zion. We'll hold the line. Good luck." Zion plunged through the atmosphere, his hybrid form leaving a trail of cosmic energy in his wake. As he approached the planet's surface, he could see the focal point, a massive fissure in the Earth's crust, pulsing with raw dimensional energy. Without hesitation, Zion dove into the fissure, pushing his hybrid body to its limits as he descended towards the planet's core. The heat and pressure were immense, but his transformed physiology allowed him to endure. As he reached the core, Zion extended his consciousness, linking with the Nexus ship far above. "I'm in position, Caspian. Activate the field." The moment Caspian initiated the sequence, Zion felt a surge of power, unlike anything he had ever experienced. Cosmic energy from the ship above poured into him, using his body as a conduit to connect with the planet's core. Pain beyond imagination ripped through Zion as he became the living linchpin of the stabilization field. But through the agony, he could feel it working. The dimensional fissures began to close, reality itself knitting back together around him. Above, the Void Reavers screeched in fury as their entry point collapsed. Those already through found themselves cut off, easy prey for the defending forces. The tide of battle had turned. As the stabilization field expanded, encompassing the entire planet and beyond, Zion felt his consciousness expanding with it. He saw glimpses of other realities, of the vast cosmic tapestry they had worked so hard to protect. In his final moments of individual awareness, Zion sent out a telepathic message to his crew, to the people of Earth, and to all the realities touched by their journey. Remember this moment, not as an end, but as a beginning. We are all connected, all part of the grand cosmic dance. Cherish your uniqueness, but never forget your place in the greater whole. The universe is vast and full of wonders. Explore it, protect it, love it. With those final words, Zion Reed, once captain of the Nova Dawn, once explorer of cosmic wonders, merged fully with the stabilization field. His consciousness spread across dimensions, becoming one with the very fabric of reality he had sought to protect. On the surface, as the last of the Void Reavers were defeated and the skies cleared, a new sense of peace settled over the planet. The dimensional rifts had closed, the threat averted. But more than that, there was a newfound sense of connection, of cosmic awareness that touched every living being. Caspian, standing on the bridge of the Nexus ship, felt a bittersweet mix of triumph and loss. They had saved not just their world, but countless realities. But the cost had been higher than any of them could have imagined. As reports of the victory poured in from around the globe, as celebrations erupted and the process of rebuilding began, Caspian knew that their journey was far from over. Zion's sacrifice had opened up new possibilities, new responsibilities for their hybrid civilization. The echoes of eternity that had guided them across the cosmos now resonated within every atom of their reality. And though Zion was gone in body, his legacy would live on in the very fabric of existence itself. The cosmic crucible had forged them anew, and the future that stretched out before them was limitless. With determination in his heart and stars in his eyes, Caspian prepared to lead their people into this new era, honoring the sacrifice that had made it all possible. In the days following Zion's sacrifice, Earth and its surrounding space underwent a profound transformation. The stabilization field, anchored by Zion's merged consciousness, had not only repaired the dimensional rifts, but had also ushered in a new era of cosmic awareness for the entire planet. Caspian stood in the newly established Cosmic Concordance Chamber, a vast hall that served as the nerve center for Earth's interactions with a wider multiverse. Holographic displays showed the intricate web of realities now visible to their enhanced perceptions, each strand pulsing with the echoes of Zion's final message. Admiral Gray, his form now shimmering with a subtle cosmic energy, approached Caspian. "The reports are in from around the globe. The changes, they're beyond anything we could have imagined." Caspian nodded, his hybrid senses attuned to the new cosmic rhythm that permeated their world. "It's not just physical changes. People's consciousness is expanding. They're beginning to perceive the interconnectedness of all things, just as Zion described in his final moments." As if to emphasize his point, a group of children passed by the chamber's entrance, their eyes glowing with an inner light as they excitedly discussed concepts that would have been beyond the greatest scientists just weeks ago. "We're receiving transmissions from other realities," Echo's voice chimed in, his light form more vibrant than ever. "Many are seeking guidance, hoping to replicate what we've achieved here." The implications were staggering. Earth, once a relatively isolated planet in a vast cosmos, had become a beacon of cosmic evolution. The hybrid legacy that Zion and his crew had forged was spreading, offering hope to realities teetering on the brink of collapse. But with this new status came new challenges. Caspian could feel the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. "We need to proceed carefully," he said, turning to Admiral Gray. "Our actions now will shape the future of not just our reality, but countless others." Gray nodded solemnly. "Agreed. We've assembled a council of our brightest minds, including representatives from the Eternals and the Reformed Ascendants. They're waiting for you in the Strategy Nexus." As Caspian made his way to the meeting, he couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. From a desperate battle against the Tsar Nixis to becoming guardians of multiversal stability, their journey had been nothing short of extraordinary. The Strategy Nexus was a marvel of hybrid technology, its walls alive with swirling cosmic energy that responded to the thoughts of those within. As Caspian entered, he was greeted by faces both familiar and new, each bearing the marks of their shared cosmic evolution. "Welcome, Caspian," Eon's mental voice resonated with warmth. "We stand at a crossroads of infinite possibility. The question before us is, where do we go from here?" The room erupted in discussion, ideas and visions for the future flying back and forth. Some advocated for rapid expansion, spreading their hybrid gifts to as many realities as possible. Others urged caution, warning of the dangers of moving too quickly. As Caspian listened, he felt a familiar presence at the edge of his consciousness. It was subtle, easy to miss amidst the cosmic background noise, but unmistakable. Zion's essence, woven into the very fabric of reality, was still with them. Drawing strength from this realization, Caspian raised his hand for silence. The room quieted, all eyes turning to him expectantly. "We've been given an incredible gift," Caspian began, his voice carrying the weight of their shared experiences. "But with it comes an equally incredible responsibility. We can't simply impose our vision on other realities. Instead, we must become guides, teachers, helping others find their own path to cosmic harmony." He gestured to the swirling display of the multiverse around them. "Zion's sacrifice showed us the power of connection, of bridging divides. Let that be our mission moving forward. We'll establish cosmic concordance stations throughout the multiverse, offering knowledge and assistance to those who seek it, but always respecting the unique path of each reality." The room buzzed with approval, the cosmic energy swirling more vibrantly as the plan took shape. Caspian felt a surge of determination, knowing that they were honoring Zion's legacy in the truest way possible. As the meeting concluded and the various representatives departed to begin implementing their new directive, Caspian found himself alone in the Strategy Nexus. He closed his eyes, reaching out with his hybrid senses to touch the cosmic web that Zion now inhabited. "We'll make you proud," he whispered to the universe at large. "Your sacrifice won't be in vain. We'll build a future of harmony, of endless discovery, just as you always dreamed." And for a moment, brief but unmistakable, Caspian felt a wave of warmth and approval wash over him. The echoes of eternity resonated with Zion's enduring spirit, a silent affirmation of the path they had chosen. As Caspian left the Nexus, ready to lead their civilization into this new cosmic age, he knew that their greatest adventures still lay ahead. The Crucible had forged them anew, and the infinite tapestry of the multiverse awaited their exploration. The legacy of tears, transformation, and transcendence that had begun with a desperate battle for survival had blossomed into something greater than any of them could have imagined. And somewhere, in the vast cosmic consciousness that now permeated all of reality, Zion Reed smiled upon the future he had helped to create. Years passed, and the hybrid civilization flourished beyond imagination. Cosmic concordance stations dotted the multiverse, beacons of hope and knowledge in a sea of infinite possibilities. Earth, once a small blue planet in an unremarkable galaxy, had become the heart of a vast network of interconnected realities. Caspian, now bearing the title of Cosmic Arbiter, stood aboard the observation deck of Nexus Prime, the most advanced station ever constructed. Its crystalline structures pulsed with living energy, a physical manifestation of the cosmic awareness that now permeated their existence. As he gazed out at the swirling tapestry of realities, Caspian reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. The challenges they had faced, the sacrifices made, the wonders discovered, all of it had led to this moment of universal harmony. A soft chime interrupted his musings. "Arbiter," Echo's voice resonated through the chamber. "The Council is assembling for the Millennial Convergence. Your presence is requested." Caspian nodded, taking one last look at the cosmic vista before making his way to the Grand Conclave Chamber. As he walked, he passed hybrid beings from countless realities, each a unique blend of species and energies. Their very existence was a testament to the success of the path they had chosen. The Grand Conclave Chamber was a marvel of multidimensional engineering. Representatives from every corner of the known multiverse gathered here, their forms ranging from the familiar to the utterly alien. At the center of it all stood the Cosmic Nexus, a swirling vortex of pure information and energy, the culmination of the Eternity Engine's transformation. As Caspian took his place, a hush fell over the assembly. He closed his eyes, reaching out with his hybrid senses to connect with the cosmic consciousness that bound them all. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of eons. "Friends, allies, fellow travelers on the cosmic tide," he began. "We gather here to celebrate a millennium of growth, discovery, and harmony, but also to face the challenges that lie ahead." The cosmic nexus pulsed, projecting images of their shared history. The battle against the Tsar Nixus, the encounter with the Eternals, the sacrifice of Zion read each moment a crucial step on their path to this point. "We have achieved wonders beyond the dreams of our ancestors," Caspian continued. "We have healed rifts between realities, uplifted countless civilizations, and expanded the boundaries of knowledge itself. But our journey is far from over." The nexus shifted, showing glimpses of unexplored regions of the multiverse, hinting at mysteries yet to be unraveled. There are still frontiers to explore, challenges to overcome. The echoes of eternity call us ever onward, reminding us of our duty as custodians of cosmic harmony. As Caspian spoke, he felt a familiar presence at the edge of his consciousness. Zion's essence, woven into the fabric of reality, seemed stronger here amidst the gathered representatives of the multiverse. Drawing strength from this connection, Caspian's voice grew more passionate. "Let us recommit ourselves to the principles that have guided us thus far. Unity in diversity, knowledge tempered with wisdom, power balanced by compassion. Together, we will continue to forge a future worthy of the sacrifices that brought us here." The chamber erupted in a chorus of agreement, each being expressing their commitment in their own unique way. The cosmic nexus blazed with energy, reflecting the collective will of the assembled cosmic citizens. As the millennial convergence continued, plans were laid for the next phase of their cosmic journey. New expeditions into uncharted realities, advancements in multidimensional technology, and initiatives to further harmonize the cosmic tapestry were all proposed and debated. Through it all, Caspian felt a profound sense of purpose. They had come so far from those early days of fear and uncertainty. The tears that had once been weapons, then catalysts for transformation, were now the bonds that held the multiverse together in a grand cosmic dance. As the convergence drew to a close, Caspian found himself once again on the observation deck. The view of the multiverse seemed even more vibrant now, pulsing with the renewed purpose of countless beings united in a common cause. He thought of Zion, of the original crew of the Nova Dawn, of all those who had sacrificed so much to bring them to this point. Their legacy lived on in every act of discovery, every moment of connection between disparate realities. "We did it, old friend," Caspian whispered to the cosmos. "We've built something beautiful, and we're just getting started." As if in response, the cosmic tapestry before him shimmered, stars and galaxies aligning for a brief moment to form a familiar face. Zion's smile, rendered in stellar brilliance, beamed down at Caspian before dissolving back into the cosmic flow. With renewed determination, Caspian turned back towards the heart of Nexus Prime. The next chapter of their cosmic odyssey awaited, full of untold wonders and challenges. And he knew, with unshakable certainty, that whatever the multiverse had in store for them, they would face it together, united by the unbreakable bonds of their shared cosmic legacy. The echoes of eternity resonated through the grand tapestry of existence, a constant reminder of how far they had come and the infinite possibilities that still lay ahead. And in that endless cosmic song, the spirit of humanity's resilience, adaptability, and boundless curiosity would forever play a crucial part. As Nexus Prime prepared to embark on its next great adventure, Caspian smiled, knowing that their journey through the cosmic crucible had forged them into something truly extraordinary. The hybrid legacy of humanity would continue to shape the destiny of the multiverse for eons to come.